Here's Chant. My internet has been restored, Battle Brothers. What a nightmare, Chant. You fucking wrap up a meeting thing, you're just like, I'm gonna get ready for stream. Then you're like, where'd the internet go? Not good, Chant, and you'll be punished for it. How dare you make me late, Chant? This is you sabotaging me, as usual. I cannot believe this. I cannot be held responsible for the internet being destroyed, Chat. Surely you must accept your blame, yes. Your fault, own up to it and be apologetic, yes. You may apologize when ready, Chat. Yes. Oh, computer is having a bit of autism, bit of a leg, bit of a spike. How's the chat? How is the little baby chat? No? Chat? Dead? Chat? Wiggle? Shake? Shake, chat? Move it a little bit? Kick it? Stab it? Shoot it? Get them to wiggle. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow, by the way, because Destroy All Humans 2 launches, and we'll be streaming that in the morning with Bubbles, assuming, you know, Bubbles isn't abducted by work and beaten to death, as he sometimes usually is. But, yeah. On other news, while my internet was out, I worked on my map more, so yay, I guess. So, yeah. It wasn't a complete wash, but it certainly was annoying because I couldn't even update stream or anything. Because fucking course my phone can't connect to nothing. I live right next to a cell tower, but it's too close to actually be able to get signal. Mildly annoying. Either way, we're back. We're alive. We're existing. Is this game making sound? Chat. Chat. Something break? Oh god. The internet goes out and either my headphones go out with it too. Can we click on the game? Is there audio? What the fuck? Cheat, what the fuck? Okay, that's why. There we go. Apparently that decided to turn itself off. But it's back now. Wait, what else did that say? What the fuck? Okay, never mind. I thought it tweaked something else. I was like, are you serious, game? Game, are you serious? What a nightmare. No more problems. Things just work now. Yes. Game has fixed itself. But yes, Kibs got lots done today. You want to see... Actually, no, I'm not going to show you everything. But I can show you some things. Only some, though, because you've been a good little chat sitting here waiting. Well, Kibs has twiddled his thumbs. He's like, Kib can't do nothing. Actually, it's not entirely true. Kib could do stuff. It's just, the stuff I could do was literally not related to the internet. So, whatever. Look, little chat. Behold the progress of Kibs. This is actually an older picture, believe it or not. This is actually the picture I have before I lost internet. But yes. You'll see that I have been working, putting names to places, putting dots and circles is on map. You're like, oh yes, circles is there are, blue lines there are, Kib. These are tweaks. So what I normally do, just for the idea for workflow, because when I work with an environmental artist, what I do is I work back and forth, right? So it's like, okay, you know, we shaped out the mountains, the landmass and stuff. That was already done because it was done on the older map, right? But what happened here, was like, okay, you know, this is like I sketched where the mountains were, so I put these mountains here, but then the artist went over and actually painted them, so they're actually proper. And I was like, okay, there's a double layered wall over here, and there's a pass to the mountain. There's also a pass in the north end by House Lanium. And you have, you know, the Citadel of Anendros, we have the lake city of Rivera, and the river city of Estios, the mountain city of Helios, we have Pyria, we have Cyrenia, we have the mountain of Aranasus. Names are hard. We got Lethos, we got Immortal, we got the Elthrillian Mountains. It took me forever to find that name, by the way. So, fun fact, when you're working on an IP long enough, right? After enough time, you're going to have so many names in so many places that you're going to be like, I don't really remember what thing is where, but I do know that there is a thing. And so this is why you write it down. Now, granted, I wrote that down, and I wrote it in a note and a document that ended up getting buried in the archive. The archive is basically all lore that I'm like, you know, this is kind of no longer as accurate. We're going to archive it. And then transfer, you know, what's applicable over. Just like, I can't wrap my head around this game. Chat, I can't believe you. This is simple stuff, chat. Come on. Keep up, little chat. Like little. What were we doing in this game? I'm at war with a lot of people. I do know that. Like, a part of me just wants to continue to just make everybody my little vassal bitch. You know what I'm saying, Jay? You know what I mean? Know what I mean? But at the same time, there's really just no harm in me just continuing to waddle to the right of the map. And, you know, just keep doing that. Okay. I think I'm more or less caught up with what we were doing. We were playing the game, chat. Ooh, novel concept. We're gonna lose pretty much all of those settlements. I think except save for this one. This one will have a sizable garrison. This one will... Dagrax end will hold, and I kind of am happy with that, but we kind of need to go back over there. I don't really want to go back over there. Chat. Okay, maybe we, instead of having Valkyria turn around, we build a new army, chat. A new army worthy of Kibdo, you know? Infernal Dominance. That sounds cool. I'm not going to read what that does. We're not going to look at that. We're just going to be like, that sounds good. Sounds pretty slick, you know? Cool and spooky and shit. And if we read it, you know, it might make it less powerful. Okay, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, some demons. Some chaos demons. Go away! All right, there. These all look like tier 1 units, kinda. Chat, help. Oh, we really don't have that many buildings here, actually, when I think about it. Oh, well. Well, you gotta start from the bottom, as the saying goes, shit. Alright, we'll get some Damon's army in that army. Herp, derp, derp. Yeah. Okay. We've done the big thinkies. Alright, so you're an army, you're pretty cool, okay, you know, you're just gonna chill there. Edo, Cheeto. Still no game sound. Wait! You can hear it. It's just, it's so quiet. How did this happen, chat? What did you do wrong, chat? What did you do wrong? Yeah, you're responsible. You're at fault. Kib equal innocent. Kib equals never heard a fly or something. Volume mixer. Volume mixer, volume mixer. Oh my god, that is so tiny. So, does that even make a difference? Does that even do anything? It does. Okay. I think we're on to something. But you know what this is going to do, chat? You know what that's going to do? That's Kib's ears. My ears will bleed. My ears will fucking explode, chat. Do you understand what that means, chat? Do you understand in the slightest what that means? How did this happen? I know exactly how this happened. It all makes sense the more I think about it. This boils down to this stupid Discord bug where Discord keeps crashing. Yes, that's the only thing as to why that got quieter. despite me turning it up. Because for me, it sounds like I'm in the middle of a fucking blizzard. It sounds like, wow, 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 wow. Like, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like for me. For you, it's like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You know, it's nothing. Nothing compared to what I hear. How did that happen? Well, you see, chat, Discord has this beautiful bug with Streamlabs, which causes it to crash. And when it crashes, it's like, I'm going to turn off your audio drivers and turn them back on again, you know, after I'm done using 9 billion% of your CPU, which is awful, and I hate that, and I wish it didn't do that. And so every time that happens, something weird happens. And I don't restart because I'm like, I don't really want to reset them manually because it's kind of cancer. And this is what I get because I was like, if I just wait it out, it fixes itself. Well, if I wait and fix itself, it breaks itself. No. This is bullshit. This is so loud for me. And it's still quiet for you. It shouldn't be possible. If I mute my headphones, does that bother you guys at all? No, you guys can hear that just fine. Okay, that's not related. So I can lower my headphones volume so my ears don't explode. That's still not very loud though. So, okay, if we hold FN and we open up the audio button, beep, beep, beep. Okay, well that's already maxed. If I hold FN here, which is this button, and I press this button over here, beep, 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 beep. Actually, that doesn't do shit, actually. That does nothing. It does absolutely nothing, chat. Well, you know what? Kibs tried. Kibs tried and Kibs died, you know? At least you can hear stuff now. I had to click that button. Yeah, you can hear shit. There we go. Audio wiggling. Audio requiring readjustment. You should ask our composer how he feels about audio and software and hardware. Oh, God. Always something, Chad. Always something. Alright, you know what? That's a cool fortress you got over there, bruh. I'm gonna go over and smash it. And when I do, you will become my little bitch. Now, who are you?
I am elevated beyond mortal pleasures, but I will take joy in you.
Your face, the faces in the portraits always look so bad in this game. Shame their ancestors. That's on the other side of the planet. The Spear of Slipnir, or whatever. Whatever. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit, chat. Here, look at this, chat. Look and behold with your little chatoli eyes, okay? Okay, don't. Because Kib is moving things. Kib is adjusting things. Perhaps wiggling things. How much wiggly things do you need to do? I've showed this a few times. But there, behold. Sala helped a bit with the background, and I think it's turning out quite lovely, this piece, don't you, chat? These are part of the promotional pieces to build up the atmosphere that will blow your little chat-holy brains open. Yes, quite cool, isn't it? And if you say, meh, well, you're banned. You will not disagree with me. Let them flourish. Vassal the province. Deployment gains plus 20 allegiance. Blood and toil. Marauders. Super activation. 4,000 XP for Barbarous. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take that. That'll level that guy up instantly. That's the guy. That's the guy over here. I do not like the map, actually. The map in this game always feels so kind of just dirty, really. Feels like it's just sort of got shit scattered all over the screen. Alright, we've got, you know, the basic upgrades. Now, we probably want to make it so that, his dudes are a bit tougher, because they're going to be going against fucking demons, and... Or demons. By demons, I mean dwarves. Those are basically demons.
Spread ruin on them.
Alright, he'll be building up his little potato army. Actually, check. Can we upgrade the settlement? I would like to be able to get one more upgrade, but I can't. Okay. What do these lines mean again? That's kind of weird. Is that where they're going? Like, I'm going here. I'm going there. I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Reforged for murder.
Alright. This will be such an easy victory that it cannot be fucked. And then we just sort of I mean, you know what we could do, right? We sack it, and then we occupy it. It's the funny way to play the game. Now, how much does that cost to repair that? No, come on, this one. You know, that's actually kind of worth it. This is where the demon dude lives, so we can't really vassalize him, I don't think. So that means we just sort of kill him, and then he dies forever, yes. Seems irrational if you ask me.
Mistress of Skulls.
Level 34, we have another point to spend. Yay, I guess. Allegiance points gained for alliances and vassalages of Norska. That's good. But we'll go Scorn of the Keyword. The Keyword. And then we'll look at this stuff and decide to probably, you know, pick my nose a little bit. I don't know. Make him a little bit thicker. Meaty Man has been a member for a glorious 9 months. This loyalty is worth noting, chat. Yes, quite. Thank you for your long-term support. Appreciate it. Don't forget to send me receipts occasionally with your rank, with how many months you've been a member. Because technically speaking, that probably is a rank or two up. Assuming you've done that already or haven't. There's still an elven faction there. I just sort of waddled past. Yeah, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it eventually.
My ruinous powers! Destruction for all! You have my favor.
Now, we do have an army, but not a very strong army. We could probably beat up the dwarven provinces if their armies are distracted, perhaps. Yes, Abaddon, the stream did start. As internet was restored, Kibs' connection to the planet also was restored. Hey, I let chat vote Ilbram Harker. It's not my first pick. If it was me picking a Chaos faction, I'd pick the one that doesn't exist. He's like, that's because you just want to be overpowered, Kib. So, a little bit. Chaos is like a neat concept, but I always found Chaos a bit on the gimmicky, sort of derpy, almost comedic side. Like, there comes a point which you're so over the top, you stop being kind of scary, and you kind of like, huh, that's stupid. But it's Meadow Kib. That's what I see chat say. And it's like, but it's retarded though. It's true. It is retarded. Don't fight me on this. What's this button do? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm sure it does something though. Alright, we're gonna start beating up those dwarves, because they're kind of cancer, and they're gonna be a bit of a problem. Gromburndal is a bit cringe, if you will. But only a bit.
Bringer of glory.
Okay. Don't... Listen, sometimes it's cool, but I always think it's a bit over the
I am the
top.
harbinger of your demise.
You know, when you have literal, like, lava coming from the backlight of your helmet. Abaddon. It's not lava, it's just the evil lava. That's why he's glowing. Peace treaty? No, I think the dark elf should be wiped off the face of the earth. We're role-playing as a angry lady on her period or something. I'm not quite sure. And, you know, when we're in a mood, we're in a bit of a mood. Like, it's not gonna happen, Chad. I've been with many women, and I can tell you that, when it's that time, you know, God help you. Just be nice, you know, and sometimes being nice isn't good enough. Sometimes you just need to die, really. Let's go into the books as Biffums. Biffos! Oh! My little Carlittle didn't show up today. That means I couldn't work on the storyboard. I was so sad. But I worked on the map, though. Our map is looking quite delicious. I need to redo the names on the islands in the north by House Elonium and the islands taken by the Cardovians, because instead of giving them their Astrian name, they should instead, I think, have their Cardovian names to match the Konungurs of Cardovia. I think that was part of the mistake there, because I gave it the northern, like, Lonic sort of tongue touch, so to speak.
Mistress of skulls.
I've started to develop 3 distinct linguistic areas in the mainland Astria. And then I've developed Ithrin and Aranor. Whatever the fuck it's called, because I always get his name mixed up. Is it... I forget what they're called, but I'm pretty sure that's their name. I'll check the notes at some point. Just like, why not now? Like, no. Never. Never in a million years. God damn it, there's nothing here. There was an army there a second ago. Okay, we sack it. And then we occupied it.
Skulls for the Skull Throne! The Gore Queen!
Occupied it, shit.
Always be blood.
Okay, not too shabby, not too shabby. The damn Ounskis are going to get their butts kicked. Okay, we're neutral with this dude. You know what we could do? People that like me.
Your will. To be honest, I'd rather be raiding, but you have my time.
So TBH, bro, like, I would just rather kill myself. It's like, fair enough. How about you just make it work? Yes, 3 Kingdoms Total War. The only, like, added some of the better features here because they're right out of 3 Kingdoms. Oh my god.
Champions. Many champions thought themselves superior. Their skulls decorate my armor.
Okay, I take it we don't have the money to reach the trade agreement part. Balance. I'll take money. Oh my god, it automatically asks for right amounts of mun-muns.
What do you want?
So that could be like, and money. Oh my god.
That's right.
No longer will you have to finick the diplomacy thing. Now that I'm actually engaging with it slightly.
Talk is cheap. Let's put...
Talk is cheap. Oh, Jake draws pictures of you. Lusting after that fucking icy queen, but you can't get anything because you're just a sad little orange-haired bro. It's okay. You'll be blackwashed in the movie. He's like, no, the Jinjo side. It's like, that's not my problem. That's not... That sounds like a you problem. All right. Yes. More demons. Mad demon.
They will be dominated.
Torminated. Oh, the Torminator. Get rocket down to 100 bits, say making it squeak. That's the spirit. Always gotta squeak.
Het woman.
Every time it sounds like Pet Woman. I'm a pet woman. It's like, okay, that's a bit of a weird kink, but you know, I'm not gonna judge, you know, because I'm not like that. Devote to corn? Ah, you're ready to do that. Nice. Now you're a corn general. Oh. Fuck, I hate when they do that. Ah, he reset his skills. Reap.
Gifts of corn.
Growth. Look at that. Another building area? Nice. Very nice. Building up our little demon empire, so to speak. Yes, yes, perfect. Alright, we're not doing too shabby, chatty patty.
Carnets awakened.
Corn, sponsored by Quaker Cornflakes. Listen, the Quaker Corporation needs its fucking money, chat. Oh my god. Is this even remotely possible? Not with that many fucking heroes there. Because here's the problem. I really hate heroes in this game. Like, heroes in this game basically take away from strategy. This is something I very carefully, was easily able to avoid with our tabletop game. It's like, okay, so like heroes are strong and cool and stuff, and they can maybe kill like 5 guys, but then they're dead. It's like, oh my god, when like 7 dudes are stabbing me, I just kind of, you know, get stabbed because, you know, it's really just not possible to block all that. If Kibs, if you go back in time, would you assassinate Tolkien? No. Why would I ever do that? Tolkien is the guy who revolutionized fantasy. There's a good chance if Tolkien didn't do what he did, that the pathway to fantasy would have gone a very different direction. And that would alternatively actually affect the Legends of Terrestria. Well, Terrestria isn't directly influenced by Tolkien all that much. There is the overall, like, fantastical elements that bled over to science fiction elements as well, which are also, well, no, it would affect it. No, back that up. I do think that actually affect it. Because the thing is, the core philosophy of fantasy changed in a lot of ways. Now, while I don't really do a lot of Tolkien tropes, I don't like to use the word Tolkien tropes. It's not, doesn't feel applicable. Tropes that became tropes due to Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, but were not tropes when he wrote the books. It's just everybody copied him.
Mistress of Skulls.
That feels better, because that's actually more accurate.
Behold my wrath.
I really hope you don't take any territories here, or I'll have to kill you. It's true.
Exalted them. Kill them all.
Alright, then we gift it back to this vassal. Wait, if I raise it, can I then gift it to the vassal after it? Maybe. Because I would do that, because I want to do that to generate souls. Well, the thing is, Abaddon, that's not Tolkien's fault. In fact, you should never blame Tolkien for that. You know who you should blame are lazy writers. It's not Tolkien's fault, because if you actually read Lord of the Rings, or the, well, any of the Tolkien, well, literally Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion, or The Hobbit, things he worked on, right? The elves and dwarves there are actually pretty cool. But the fact that other people got lazy with it does not necessitate that he should be punished. You should punish the people that are lazy. Can you believe that, Barch? Abaddon being mean. Rude, even.
Corn is pleased this day.
Now, we need to put this skill point somewhere. And I don't really know where, to be honest with you. Maybe with that. So they bonk a little bit harder.
You're talking to yourself.
That's literally what you do when you stream.
Cringe.
Well, you talk with chat. And I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to people. I'm talking... I don't understand the concept of social interaction. Which is fair, you know? He's a bit of an introvert. A bit of an incel.
Social interaction. You're sitting in a little slum building alone in America.
Yeah.
This is not social interaction, Kyle. This is cringe.
You're a woman.
Oh,
W-O-M-E-N.
3. Wow. It's disgusting. How dare you?
I know. I want to play Destroy All Humans too, but it didn't come out till tomorrow.
Consort of Corn.
Also, the more I play this, the more I'm like, wow. I hate looking at this map. Like, I unironically... Here, you know what? I gotta fucking put the other count here so you can see it. If you want to. Because...
Unironically.
You're uploading something. Because you sound like...
Unironically is my word.
Yeah, but, like, looking at this map... Like... It just looks bad.
God, haven't you gotten any further than that? You're, like, turned like 700.
66. Oh my god! Order 66. I don't know.
The Gore Queen.
Like, that's like a million billionth of the map.
Yeah, it's only a little tiny chunk, actually. The map's actually quite big. I'll give them this. The map is pretty sizable, even if they squinched things a bit. But at the same time, I hate how it looks. I hate the fog of war effect because it looks like fucking cum all over the map, and it's just kind of gross. And I also dislike how when you discover areas, it sort of looks like it doesn't look very good. Like, I feel like the more the map I discover, the more it looks silly. Also, playing this faction the way I think it's meant to be played makes the map look like Border Gore, which kind of hurts my soul, and I kind of hate that. Because I'm just making vassals out of all the northern tribes.
There will
Listen,
always
Kipper.
be blood.
All I know is that Creative Assembly has finally proven to me that there is such a thing as too big.
It's like, it's a big map. I mean, there are little teleport nodes that teleport you randomly all over the planet, apparently. I don't know why, but they exist.
131 faction. Hey, at least it's not the turn time from Total War Warhammer 2, I guess.
Oh, hey, it was higher than that. There's 100 more factions. When you start the game, I think there's like 250, 270 about. They die really quickly, though, because they're all like the little tiny baby factions.
Which, to be fair, shouldn't even be there. Like, I miss the old rebels because...
It would
well,
help the turn timer.
Yeah, they were an enormous time saver, frankly. And it's not like those factions are going to live anyways.
Also, the nice thing about the rebels, actually, in the older Total Wars, is it's what helps expand factions and also adds replay value because you can expand in certain directions. You can still do that in this one, technically, but the rebels added the ability to have, like, buffer states so that the early game was more about getting your early generals, getting them some combat experience before you made contact with another kingdom.
But not now, Kip. Not
Buildings damage. But 5,000 XP for Welch. Stroke the winds. Oh, okay. I was like, that sounds gay. We don't want to do this gay thing. Now, where are the buildings damaged? Game? Where are they damaged, game?
Heretical influence abounds.
You're not gonna even tell me, are you, little asshole?
War and slaughter. Despoil their land.
He's cranky.
You know what triggers me the most?
What's that?
20
Reforged
units in
for
a stack.
murder. A bloodbath
Yeah, but that'll
comes.
never be fixed, though. You know that. I know that. We all know it.
They fucking modded that in Empire.
You mean Birchpire? So,
I think I have to make a strategy game by myself. One in which pre-battle maneuvering is a thing, because
Every action
God,
shall
that
be
was so much fun in
calculated.
that Napoleon one. There's also there's a Civil War game, which I think is literally called like Civil War or something.
oh, you're talking about like a skirmishing thing. That's actually something Fairman and I were actually working on our tabletop. Also, Fairman, you're a cheat. We were trying to come up with like a skirmishing phase so that early units, skirmisher units, arrive in army composition, and then they jockey for strategic positions to help you give leverage when your actual army arrives. Still got some
Yes,
experimenting to do. Because armies
Skirmishing is something
skirmished.
that no game gets right.
And more games should have skirmishing. This game is just your army encounters the other army, and you walk forward towards them.
Grand Tactician, the Civil War, that's the name of the game. Because it has some really neat ideas, where there's there's quite a lot of movement. Giving orders is quite slow because message riders need to get out to the units. Units themselves are quite unwieldy. There's a lot of movement on the field. The problem is the guys who made it don't really know how to program, and they've done a stellar job for all their limitations. It's a good game for the price, but the only way they could figure out how to make the AI responsive to player actions instead of literally scripting what the AI would do in, you know, each circumstance was to give it perfect vision of the player.
The player is over here. It's like, thanks, game.
Which,
Thanks, you little snitch.
Like, it gets really frustrating really quick, and it makes playing on the defense pretty much pointless, because wherever you put your defenses, that's where the AI doesn't go, because it knows where your defenses are.
It's a bit cancer, if you ask Kibs. Just a little bit.
It is. I'm hoping they'll work on that more, because there's a lot of cool things there. Like, what do you really need, though? What do you actually need is think Ruse, right? Did you play Ruse?
Yeah, I played Ruse. In fact, I think the beta was actually really good, and then the game came out, and I was like, what happened?
And yes, then they decided to fix it, yes.
They also went down the console path hard. Ruse was a really cool game, because the entire idea of Ruse, and if you watch the trailer for Ruse, it's this cool RTS by, I think, Ubisoft, and the cool concept about it is, it's about basically trying to elude the enemy with misintelligence, or using intelligence and decoys to try to trick the enemy into where your strengths are or where you're attacking.
No.
What's wrong, little blondie?
I mean, you are right in that Ubisoft was the publisher, but no, it's made by Eugene, the Wargame guys.
Oh my god, they made that?
Yep.
I almost feel like it felt so arcadey when it came out.
Oh, it was. Like, the thing is, like, what Ruse was trying to do was to represent warfare on a scale, right? A large scale. And then you would have misdirections, like radio signals. Like, you could make it look like you had units over there, or you could make it so that there was no intelligence from that sector. A really cool idea. It was betrayed primarily by its arcadey nature. Like, they went too fucking far, because what do you do in theory, right? You take a map, you make it fucking retardo massive, right? To the point where units actually need a lot of time to maneuver. Like, it's gonna take an hour in-game for a unit to get the fuck over there. Which means that skirmishing forces are suddenly incredibly useful. Like, a unit that moves at 130 kilometers on a road, like, you know, light vehicles in armored jeeps or whatever, that is suddenly an incredibly worthwhile unit, because it can take and hold a position. Because of the size. That's the issue that is you can only solve by size, in my opinion. Because if you could bring up your main army in the same amount of time, what possible reason do you have to not just do that?
I remember using all sorts of cheeky tactics and ruse. One of the things that I thought was a bit on the cancer side, but I found to be really effective, especially during the beta, was doing paratroopers. Paratroopers and then capturing strategic points in their buildings and whatnot.
Yep. And that was kind of the thing too, because Ruse was intended to be a much larger scale game than what they eventually delivered.
You can thank consoles for that, by the way.
Yep. Because the original, because I remember hearing about this game when it was like first being announced, and I remember fucking Total Biscuit doing a thing on it where the developer was like, oh yeah, what we want is actually like for you to command a strategic front. Like, you're gonna have to deal with logistics, you're gonna have like rear line reserves, you're gonna move units from the back. It was gonna be a whole massive thing, but, well, too much.
It's a bit of a shame that Ruse actually ended up flopping, because it could have been a really interesting game. A really interesting series, too.
Honestly, like, I would almost have preferred Ruse over Wargame, because I really like this idea of, like, the battle isn't on one
Reforged for
engagement.
murder.
It's this sweeping maneuver. Like you grab a bunch of unit and you send them over there, and then you go do something else, and that's just one offensive, you know.
Or I loved putting a lot of decoys when you were trying to feign a build-up on like the border of your little territories. There are little territories in this game, chat. And if you control the territory, you could basically put actions on these different regions on the map. And you could build up like a decoy action. So it's like there'd be a massive armor build-up, and then you just see them building up. And you'd be like, okay, are they actually building up? If you had the proper reconnaissance, you could tell. But they could also be decoys, you know? That they might not actually be building up. They might know that those vehicles there aren't really real. And all it would take is a actual probe and a proper probe to actually realize that, hey, these things can't even shoot. They're literally balloon tanks. They're fake.
It added an incredibly interesting element to the strategy.
The glory of war.
It's kind of reminiscent of what you have in Wargame today. Like, one of the most important things you need to learn in Wargame or Warno or Steel Division is to be able to scout effectively. Because 9 times out of 10, there's nowhere near as much shit in front of you as you think there is.
Yep, and often you can actually break through at more points than you'd imagine. But they managed to do that in Wargame and in Steel Division in a lot. Well, Steel Division, the problem is the battle line. The battle line actually gives away movement, but it also can be deceptive. It could just be a single unit wiggling around.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the battle lines. Like, I get what they wanted to do, and it looks cool, but it also makes you can't move around somewhere.
The Warno system, I think, is a little better. It's like, okay, only the strategic points have the actual battle lines. And that's to make the sniping, or to deal with the CM commander vehicles a little less cancer. Though you can't really snipe them, you still have to, like, actually kind of figure out where they are. We will do more Warno, by the way, chat. We're just waiting for more stuff to come out for it, because I do enjoy Warno quite a bit.
Like, Warno... I am very excited to see how that experiment works out, because it is a very different game from the previous war games. It is super quick. It's not arcadey, I'd say. Like, it maintains a lot of the detail and realism of Wargame, but it increases the speed by like 2, which leads to some really cool matches, but fuck me, it's also a nightmare to play at times, because shorter engagement intervals means that the difference in balance becomes a lot more apparent, which is what we saw with those fucking Germans with their AG3s for a while.
Yep, they were a bit on the the busted side.
It's also it's a brave move by Eugene, because that is not what their audience was expecting, and a lot of people are not sure they like it.
I actually respect and actually agree with a lot of the criticisms about the game, especially when they boil down to the whole reason why we have divisions instead of like the just like Wargame where it's just a nation. I can almost feel like that is just for DLC. It's like,
yeah, no, you're not wrong. It's exactly why.
Like, I wouldn't mind if Warno only included, okay, maybe some of the major powers, like Germany, you know, because right in Germany, East and West Germany, and it comes with the United States, and then it comes with Russia. And you know what? If they flesh out those armies fully, I would be happy with just that. And it's like, okay, it comes with 4 armies at launch, and then they can, you know, do huge, expansive, like, things. Like, that way they can justify charging more, because instead of it just being, like, a part of Britain, it's like, no, this is their entire military, like, roster. So when you buy Britain, it comes with the entire country. And it's like, okay, that's much better. That's much better than, this is the 3rd DLC, and it has 2 British divisions. It's like, I want the flexibility of Wargame in Warno, and when it comes to deck creation.
That is a big issue, because it's, you know, it's Eugene. They're a little mid-sized developer in a very niche market, and I get it, I understand, but it comes with so many inherent problems. Like, if you want to play competitive, there's only a few decks you can play. Like, they give you decks that are cool and historical, like 2nd and 3rd line formations. Which it can be fun playing with friends, but you'd never bring that online. Like, fuck, you'd be cream pied.
Yeah, it'd be just dead. Yeah. They gotta get their shit together. Warno's gotta get their shit together. Because Warno's pretty cool, but it needs work. Also, Black Knight's Dollar says Sqek can help Arch Credit Lord and Savior Pete Kibs. Get her cut during 10 bits to say, not like 3rd edition Warhammer Fantasy, as Arch probably remembers fondly from his early days, as in Archling. It's Barchling, actually. Yes. And then he says, outnumbering bonuses should always work against heroes. Essentially, they... Yeah, okay, this is in regards to my annoyance. So earlier I was complaining about how heroes... Because I looked at the enemy army, and I'm like, tactics don't really matter. Like, I can have a smaller army, but if the enemy has, like, 4 hero units, and my army just consists of, like, the garrison, no tactics I do will actually matter, because that single unit model will just wipe out an entire unit. That's one of my problems with Total War Warhammer. He says, essentially they should only be as strong as the equivalent points cost of troops, so there is always a cost benefit, and you have to use them in the correct situation to exploit their strengths. I kind of wish they would actually take the Dawn of War approach, and make it so that the heroes, just like in Dawn of War 1, could be embedded into the core units. Because you could take Gabriel Angelos and be like, okay, I'm attaching him to the sniper squad. Why? I don't know. It's a dumb idea, but I'm doing it anyways. You know, you could attach your chaplains and stuff to the other squads. Like, I kind of wish heroes could be attached to units, and then they would do things and interact with the unit in interesting ways there. But Barch, they don't do that.
Is, the issue returns to the 20 unit system.
There will always be blood.
That's your problem right there. Because if you have 20 units, and that hero isn't able to do the job of a full unit, you're now 1 unit down. The 20 unit system is so fucking archaic and so terribly outdated, and it gets in the way of a lot of interesting design. Because if you had more units, then suddenly chaff units might be useful. Suddenly attaching heroes to units might be worth something. They don't have to be larger than life fucking wrecking balls.
Yeah. That was one thing I sort of... When I played Three Kingdoms, I was like, at least they had the option to. And I was like, I was kind of hoping that Total War Warhammer would introduce it. Like, sure, if it's a big monster, you know, it can be a single model. If it's Karl Franz on his Griffin, okay, fair enough. It's like a monster unit now. So it's kind of like it does more, you know? So it's not a big deal if it is just a single model. In fact, it's actually more balanced that it's not 30. But at the same time, I wish that you could choose to embed units, and I wish you could choose to embed heroes with certain unit types.
It would also be nice for there to be a point in choosing the mounts. Because right now,
When you speak to the
of course you're just going to go for the
Lord
biggest
of
fucking
Murder
mount. There's
also
absolutely no
listen.
reason not to.
Makes them stronger. And I think right now, I've noticed that when my heroes level up, they automatically just assign them.
Yeah. Because it's just an upgrade. Like,
Why
you'd
wouldn't
never... you'd never ride a horse if you could ride a dragon.
Yep, because the dragon allows, like, not only increases the hit pool value, but it does more damage when charging, and it's got flying. It's just overall utility-wise, it's just... The horse has way, is just inferior.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, it's because Total War is a fucking stagnant goddamn game, and it has been for a very long time now. Like, the closest Total War has come to innovation in the last half decade is introducing a bar that represents supplies that will empty an enemy territory and fill in yours.
Like, wow. But Barch, they have map mechanics. If you're Chaos Red, you can make Chaos Red territory, and if you go into the green territory, you lose.
That is truly something.
They basically took the vampire corruption. Now, granted, I did skip out. Yeah, if it's corn territory, you get bonuses for corn, and they have things for that. But by and large, like the territory, like map changey thing, it kind of just feels not that interesting.
Same mechanic. It's just different paint layers of that mechanic.
It's red, or it's blue, or it's pink, or it's green.
It's
or
the same with
your
the
zombies
underway.
are purple.
It's all the same mechanic, but they've got slightly different visual appearances.
Yeah, because they fucking pussied out is what they did. They could have gone so much more. Like, imagine if there was an under Empire map where you could press a button, you could see the under Empire. Like, that would be so cool. And then so, like, humans could use the underway, they just had to find it. Because realistically, yeah, they could. They would just have to, know how to do it. Or hire, like, a dwarven guide as a mechanic. That could be something. Such a missed opportunity, I think. Look, the map has little bits of volcano lava wherever I live. Isn't that cool? Isn't that neat? Or no.
Don't know.
Exalted, of course.
Of skulls.
Who's this? Archeon the Cringe? Gross. Disgusting, Bjorch. Archeon the Everchosen. What do you think of that character? Did your opinion of him change when he destroyed the world, Barch?
He's one of the cringier characters invented by Games Workshop.
He said, I'm evil, and now I'm... Or, no, I'm a good guy, and now I'm evil. It's like, okay, dude, calm down. Oh god, that's right, they added wolf people. That's a bit special, Barch. I do like the outpost system. It makes no sense why I'm building an outpost as a Khorne person, but that will give me access to other chaos units from other factions.
Why would that not make any sense?
I get little noiskins. Well, would the fucking Khorne people be like, I'm putting an embassy here? So, maybe that's why they call it an outpost, because functionally speaking, it is an embassy.
Had I no use for you,
An embassy would
Khorne
sound
would have me
weirder.
take your skull.
800 moonies. Archeon the book reader, says Squealing. Damn. It'd be cool to have an Empire General riding with his Reichsguard. Yeah, that'd be fucking sick. Like, because I know some people are like, no, it makes more sense for some of the monsters. Like, yeah, sure, the monster dudes can do that. But like when you have an average Empire General just standing up out by himself, soloing like a group of trolls by himself, I have to ask questions. I'm like, that looks a bit silly.
Willy.
Silly Willy.
My, what a silly penis you have there. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Barch, you like the curvature of it. It's like, that is weird, Barch. That is very weird. You need help.
Skull.
Right, thank you. It leans slightly to the left.
Unrelenting murder.
Happened from an accident where I fell. I was like,
You just gotta
Khorne
give up
dominates
all hope
here.
for Total War. It's just that simple. Just gotta recognize that it's a silly thing.
Bringer of glory.
It's been silly for 30 years, Barch. But that franchise isn't even that old. That's true. But it's almost 30 years old, I think.
Northman.
We're getting there, Barch. It's getting rankly.
Mighty have fallen.
Slaughter.
Now somebody's gotta fall, and it might as well be the mighty, right?
Rewards for the mighty.
Rewards for the mighty.
Nothing.
Slay.
Oh god, active aggression. Oh god, you were dumb enough to buy that game, Kyle?
Shut
Oh,
the
you
fuck
stupid child. My
People are
friends
like-
already own this game, Captain Kibbles.
You own it too,
Bitch.
don't you?
Nope.
You refunded it, didn't you? You
I
waited.
played the beta.
See, I played the beta, I'm like, this is neat, like, it's kind of like Active War. And then they're like, and I don't know why everybody kept saying Command and Conquer. Like, it's like Command, and no, it's not like Command and Conquer, it's like Active War. And it felt like Active War, but then, like, they just didn't really do anything with it. It stayed the way it was, and then released, and then it never improved since the beta, and then.
I even remember Total Butt Cancer talking about it and being very sad and disappointed.
It was, the thing is, the beta actually was kind of fun, but at the same time, it was like, this could use a little bit more polishing. I sent warnings. You're trespassing. Actually, can you please stop standing on my dirt? A little bit. Just a little bit.
Enter then. Are you after a drink, a fist fight, or both?
He's trying to talk to me. Stab him.
Norska. Dominant. Always ready for
Niffles.
a headbutting contest. You have my favor.
Always ready for a headbutting
What?
contest.
Always ready for a headbutting contest.
Oh god, they only have like one voice actor for this faction or race. Norskins. Kind of cancer.
Factions, races. What truly is the difference?
Well, that's the thing. That's something I think I always talk about. Because, like, when you look at dwarves, elves, and orcs, right? They look different on the surface. But generally, like, there's only a few mechanics in this game that actually make them somewhat different. Like, by and large, the models, when you look at it, they kind of just behave like the Empire models. There's no real difference in how they fight or the unit cohesion. In fact, they're basically identical, actually, when it comes to the actual battles themselves. Yeah, there's different on the campaign map, but I think that's where the differences stop. The battle map, it seems like the orcs just are kind of the same.
And because again, 20 unit limit, Guile. They can't really do all that much. Again, the fucking Skaven engage the enemy in straight up combat with equally sized armies.
The Skaven are not a numerical army, Arch. You silly really. The Skaven are known for being able to match man per man per rat. Yes. That's not true. Now, it says I'll win if I just auto this, so... I squint my eyes, chat. I squint my fucking eyes. Yeah, that's fucking what I thought, game.
We will come for you.
Oh, big game. But yes, that's the thing. You can make... Like, what's funny is you have a faction... You have Total War Medieval 2, and Total War Rome Total War, and the... While everyone's human there, they feel vastly more different than they do in this game. And how they behave. Down to the unit cohesion level. Decisive defeat? That's kind of cringe. Like, I could hurt him. Like, I should battle it. Mostly because I've been auto-resolving because, like... Either my army is up against nothing, and there's just an army that's big up against my nothing.
A tragedy.
Now, Corsovo says that Skaven have more more. Well, let me correct you. Not entities, models is what I would use per unit, and that's true. Skaven units do have more models per unit, but here's the issue. They don't have the benefit of actually having the numerical side of things, because it sort of just balances out when it comes down to the unit, the models themselves. What you should be able to do as Skaven is have bigger armies, and the thing is your army should be just more shit. Like, even shittier. But the thing is, your whole strategy is to overwhelm the enemy. So, the enemy should be able to try to be focusing on positioning to combat your horde army. You know, fighting in choke points or fighting in strategic points where they have the high ground or advantages like that. But due to the fact that all those mechanics, the high ground mechanics, are by and large gone in the Total War series, there really is no value to those systems anymore. Like, they're just there. There's hills and elevation, but it doesn't mean what it used to mean. I think you still get a charge bonus if you charge down a hill. But beyond that, you don't get elevation for range bonuses and stuff like that. Like, that's all gone. That just sucks,
Also,
in my opinion.
In many cases, whilst they may have physically more models, their hit points tend to be rather close. And the models don't matter. The hit point pool does.
Yeah.
Skaven slaves should have been a dog unit. That's what it should have been. Just release them and they go screaming off towards the enemy. And they all die.
And just like Dan Barch. Yep, just like that. Dead. Fucking Bjorching it up over there, you little shite.
Hey, Kyle, I've seen this city before.
Yeah, me too. We're in the Chaos Waste, if you didn't believe it. He's like, eat Jägerbrand or whatever the fucking... I don't care. I've been up in the Chaos Waste areas, and all I see are Dark Elf buildings all the time.
Get them!
Sometimes I forget that it's the Chaos Waste, not the Elven Waste.
They will succumb!
Well, that is knockoff.
And the fact that every settlement is the same, like, that really grinds me gears, actually.
Chaos Marauders!
Listen, they added settlement battles after 5 fucking years. You just need to shut up and be happy, okay? That's all you gotta do.
See, they added settlement battles in the most lazy way possible. Like, I guarantee you there are 3 other factions that have this settlement as well. Identical. And it's just the buildings are decoration. There's no cultural variation.
So be it!
Like, it hurts me.
His inability to just shut up and be happy damages my soul too, Carl.
Barchman breaking. He's like, Barchman weakening. Barchman decaying. He's just like the zombies in this game. He's like, oh, I got the decay mechanic. He's crumbly. And that's how the Barch...
Unit of yours, though. Ah, God, shit is still paper mache. That's an entire unit gone in about 10 seconds?
Yeah, they died pretty quick. This is the problem. Radius isn't up to date. At least last I checked. And the problem is like, units have no staying power. The combat is way too fast.
I mean, that was supposed to be your holding units. Your flankers haven't even fucking arrived.
Like, I've got the Chaos Warriors, and if these guys break, which are already starting down, like, look at how quickly they're dropping due to how Lords work and everything else. Like, I'm not even in position.
They've already shed a quarter of their HP.
Okay, like, just get in there.
Chaos Marauders!
This is the issue, too, with Total War pacing. Like, there's no maneuver phase. What the fuck are you on about? There's just unit hit, unit splat.
Your will!
Something's dead.
Charge them!
I've modded it so magic towers don't work anymore, so I can only place them in the beginning, and I'm so happy about that. It's like, yes, I could cheese the game more, but, like, it's just kind of cringe to see a tower magically rise out of the ground. So many people defend that, by the way. Where they're like, well, you have magic in Warhammer. Okay, Barge, do they have magic to magically erect magic towers with magic wizards inside them?
Yes.
Is that... Does that happen in every town for everything in every city?
No. It's a ridiculously rare spell, and I've only heard of it once.
But it happens all the time, in every battle, in every settlement. Despite you not having a wizard in that settlement.
There is one particularly powerful Tzeentch wizard who has, like, a traveling tower that can pop up whenever, where. I think that is the only example of it. And it's just a dumb and gay mechanic. Like, even if this was a universe where that happened, I'd just be like, dumb and gay. Like, it removes gameplay. Like, I want to be strategic. No. Plunk. Cannon tower.
My cannon tower, magical. Like, where did that cannon come from? I don't know.
And your defense just looks at you look at your partner like, it's magic.
It's magic. It's like that guy that says, my Viking ancestors. Like, anytime chat tells me that, because, well, it's only like 2 people I've ever talked to in chat. They're like, dude, you guys are just overreacting about towers. And, like, every time I see that, I imagine the big bucktooth face staring at me. My magic tower ancestors. It's like, oh my god.
They're right. The
My
towers
tower.
in themselves would have been a minor annoyance. It would have been a stupid thing. But it's not just the towers are the last in a long list of middle fingers being forced into your nostrils. Like, my tolerance for Creative Assembly's shit has gotten very low.
As time is done.
Close defeat? I don't know if I'd call that close, honestly. I'd call that a one-sided rape, but details.
Listen, my units might have evaporated like they were made out of tissue paper, but that's besides the point.
Grombrenald fucking nailed 101 kills in that. How long was that battle? Fucking 3 minutes?
They don't have a timer here, probably because they don't want me to criticize it. Fair enough, game, fair enough. I guarantee that was like 10 minutes under.
I was definitely not 10 minutes.
That was like, I know, that's why I said it's under 10 minutes easily, so it's like 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes, chat. How long was that fight?
I hate the pacing too, because it just devalues battles. Like, the battles don't matter. It's like,
I want units... Now, fortunately, this can be fixed by modding. But the thing is, like, this is the direction Creative Assembly wants to go in. Fast battles, and to get back to the campaign map. Like, the campaign map is huge, right? But at the same time, the more I play this, the more I think that the campaign map is actually smaller than it really looks. Because all the battles are the same, and what 90% of the battles of this campaign I've done so far with Valkyria, and once I have a high tier army, and stack, so to speak, is I just auto-resolve it. Like, I've had little to no resistance, like, sweeping to the right. I'm almost to the Chaos proper wastes. So, like, it's just no reason to, you know?
the problem too is, like, in theory, this super large map with all these factions should give you a lot of variety. Like, you should be fighting in the Chaos Waste, and you should be fighting in the Empire, and you should be fighting in the Badlands, and you should be fighting in Lustria. But you're not, because the map is very large, and it is divided in far too many provinces. Like, a third of this would have been good, because then taking a settlement's a big fucking deal. You're pushing further now. You might move into different biomes. You might explore different areas. You might fight different enemies. I mean, I bet you, like, what have you been fighting this whole time? Like,
Dark Elves,
right?
Chaos factions, and Norskins. So three in total in terms of archetypes.
There you go.
And occasionally dwarves.
Chaos.
So 4.
It's the same one, so 3 really. Chaos of 2 flavors, and dwarves and dark elves.
Don't forget different colors of chaos. Some pink ones, some red ones.
Different colors of chaos.
They come in colors now, don't you know?
Like, there's so many settlements. Most of them are fucking pointless, and they exist for no other reason than for you to be like, yeah, extra money.
Your lord has returned.
See, Grombrindle's army is getting kind of eked away because the AI is retarded, and so he just keeps sitting there and sacking me. Meanwhile, his army, which is actually a threat, has done really nothing at this point. Well, is it Nagarthrond? Or Nagarond, and I have basically chewed apart his little empire he carved out. He's just been sitting over here, because the campaign AI is actually really dumb. Like, he only has a handful of territories, and then he's gonna start actually decaying. Grombrindle went from being a threat to being a mild nuisance now.
Reforged for murder.
Grombrindle.
You and your silly pronunciation of things. Blondie. The sadness of a blonde one.
Rewards for the mighty.
This army's getting stronger, which is good. I would like more damage to summon, though. Damages.
Well, you can't.
We're gonna make everywhere spiky barch. Where's my armies?
Your homosexual ways.
Firstly, that's rude, Blondie. Secondly, you're a bad Blondie. Well, like, some of the start positions being shit fuzzy, that's nothing new. That happens in almost every Total War. There's gonna be that faction, or, you know, a couple of them that, oof, I don't want to play over there because it's potato over there. But it kind of feels like that's more the case here because, like, everywhere's kind of potato. Oh no, Grombrindle.
Like, if you have this big-ass fucking map, you'd expect to be able to fight in all kinds of cool places against all kinds of cool enemies, but you can't, because the map is too big and too filled with the same fucking shit.
And even when you do fight something, like, even if I could just go down and fight the Empire now. I'm choosing to basically stay in Norska to sort of, like, conquer it all. But if I go down to, you know, say, Lustria or whatever, like, it just sort of, like, yeah, the background's a little different, but, like, when I play it, it's actually kind of just the same as anywhere else. Like, it kind of plays like the Chaos Ways.
They don't apply different tactics. You're still deploying in one massive-ass fucking line against the enemy's massive-ass fucking line. And you're smashing yourself together.
Plapping, if you will. Yes, plap.
See, that was actually a really neat trick that Total War Alexander did. Because when you left Greece and you went into Persia, the Persians fight completely differently than you do.
Yeah, that's the thing I was saying. Like in the Rome Total War games, like when you even fight the Gauls or the Romans, the Gauls don't even use formations. They actually fight in like weird, like loose formation units. Like barbarians to Romans have more differential mechanics in the combat play than any faction in Rome. Total War Warhammer. Like Greeks fight in phalanxes, Romans fight in like cohorts and blocks, and you have different barbarian factions that have different styles of sort of loose fighting. You even have cavalry factions as well.
And again, the really cool thing that was about Alexander was when you were fighting the Persians, like it wasn't just even their formations, their entire deployment changed. The heart of their army, their core, was just like fucking light infantry and skirmishers and faggoty shit, whilst all of their strength was on their flanks, which completely changed the entire way you played and deployed.
Mm-hmm. It made the game much more interesting, but they kind of did away with that. Also, Get 10 bits say, I find the economy mechanics just slow down and drag out the gameplay rather than enhancing it. It would be great if you could spend money to expand settlements, adding building slots. My issue with the building slot system as a whole, Get a Real Cut, is the fact that I don't actually like it. I think that the way cities should work is it should be natural. There should be no such thing as a slot to a city. Like, what? Like, the city just expands. If it's in a cave, it expands out of the cave. Like, that's kind of how humans build as a whole. Like, we build and we expand outwards. It doesn't really matter where it is. The only exception is on islands. And even on islands, there's land reclamation projects and whatnot to basically reclaim land and build more. So, how it should work is it should work like Total War, Rome Total War, or Total War, or Medieval 2 Total War. And basically be that your city has so many buildings because of the population, and as your population expands, so too does your city. It should be tethered to the population, I think. Not to, like, building slots, you know? Because it feels more natural. That's how cities work. They grow by people, not by arbitrary slots that, like this one city, the cities in this game can only have 6 building slots. Like, are you telling me that the Empire's capital city can only have 6 buildings?
Yes.
It's like, this is a huge city that sprawls. Altdorf is massive, but it only has 6 slots. It doesn't feel massive anymore. Like, cities in Medieval 2 and in Rome 1 felt massive because not only were there tons of buildings and buildings to upgrade, but the city you could build pretty much every building. And the Medieval 2 added the idea of castles versus cities, so that there was 2 dynamics there, and whether a military city or building up an economic city or building up a castle for, you know, strategic defenses as well as recruitment. Medieval 2 added a good system there, I think.
And that may be all well and good, but you listen here, Sinclair, or whatever her name is.
Sinclair.
What is an excellent mechanic for mobile devices, alright?
Nah. It does feel like the game was designed for mobile.
It really fucking does, doesn't it?
The more I think about it, I start to think that maybe this game, they wanted to go to mobile at some point. I mean, didn't they announce that there was a Total War Warhammer project for mobile, actually?
Yeah, they've been planning for that for ages. Like, they had a mobile game that was like a spin-off Total War game.
Oh, I played that one. It was awful.
They ported Rome to like iPads and shit.
Yep, Rome can be played on your phone now. Alexander can be played on your phone now. Barbarian Invasion can be played on your phone. And Medieval 2 is ported. Now, I don't fault Pharaoh Interactive because they do the remasters. But yes, they have ported Medieval 2. And if I had to guess, Kingdoms is going to be the next port to mobile, if I had to guess.
I don't know. Maybe. Like Kingdom, maybe. The thing is, the mobile gaming market in Asia isn't actually that big. There's a lot of PCs, mostly. Bit of a reverse of ours again. And the mobile gaming market in Asia is even more competitive. What I would think is that Total War Medieval
not 3 Kingdoms, sorry. I meant Medieval 2 Kingdoms. That's the one that's going to be ported next, I think.
Oh, yeah, that might have. Because I think Medieval 3, which is going to be their next big release title, it's probably going to be announced that it's going to come to mobile devices. And yeah, the thing is, Medieval 3, even if it is the hottest, steamiest pile of Quicksilver garbage you've ever seen, it will sell like no other title before it. Just like Rome.
Yep, it's the big name that's been waiting. That's why Rome 2 still sells like hotcakes to this day. Now, to be fair, at the end of the day, Rome 2 with mods is a okay Total War, but
Rome
for
2,
being Rome 2 is nowhere near where it should have been, though.
after an additional like 3 years of patching and development,
Over
and an
17
additional,
overhaul
like,
patches, too. Like, fucking Christ.
Yep. And an additional like 5 years of modding has become a pretty decent game.
It's just, you know, that and all its DLC is like almost $100, I think, or over.
Oh, well, it's a lot more than 100 fucking bucks. I'll tell you that much right
Oh,
now.
God. Actually, to be honest, Abaddon, instead of Empire or Medieval 3, one Total War that I would actually really be looking forward to, if Total War was actually a company, or CA was a company that made good games, it would actually be Victorian Total War. I want to be able to do like the Boxer Rebellion and cheat. That'd be so cool. Hordes of angry Chinese attacking the legation. Be like, no.
The Gore Queen!
Victoria would be great. But that's going to require Creative Assembly to innovate.
Victoria Total War would be awesome. Because I want to play as the Zulus, and there better be an achievement as the Zulus to take London.
But again, Kyle, this is going to require Creative Assembly to innovate and make factions that play differently.
They would have to. Like, the Zulu tribes couldn't just play like the British Empire. Just like the Siamese could not play like the same either. Or the various Rajas, or Raj territories, because they were not unified then. Not to mention the Native Americans would still be on the map as well as factions, competing against the United States, the Civil War that could happen during the Victoria Total War. Like, Victoria Total War would be so cool. Oh my god. And it could literally end with, like, the game-broken power of, like, Maxim machine guns and stuff from, like, World War I. Like, if they want to go endgamey content, like, it would be nasty, but it would be funny. Mongol Total War would be good. Honestly, what I wish they would do is just basically make, like, global Total War. Like, if they did Medieval 3, like, just make it all the way to China and Japan. Like, make it all of Europe. And then Medieval 3 should basically end with America being the unlocked continent, and they can start colonizing and stuff. With, like, pike and shot being, like, the final era in the Medieval 3 Total War. Because it's Medieval Total War should start out like late or early Dark Age, or not early Dark Age, like late Dark Age, because we're coming out into the Medieval, right? Early Medieval, all the way through High and Late Medieval, and then it should end in like the pike and shot era, right as things are starting to get spicy. And then they should lead in with the next Total War, which they could do Empire, because that'd be cool. And then give Kibos his dream Total War, Victorian Total War. That would be glorious.
No, Kyle, you'll get Total War Medieval 3, and you will shut your...
Wait, what if it's good, though? I'm kidding. Aren't you getting it? Funny, you hurt my feelings. That's a big army. We'll finally do a battle. It's a battle. Listen, I'm bored of auto-resolving, chat. Yeah, the auto-resolver says it's going to be easy, but, you know, it'd be funner to actually kill things or something. There's only so many times I want to click that auto-resolve button before I kill myself. Look at these gold veterans. My god, Birch. These battle-hardened veterans. Medieval 3 just takes the CK2 map. Actually, I would want them to take the CK3 map, because the CK3 map's a little bit further east. I also want to point out that the Crusader Kings 3 map has, at the edge of the map, is ripped. Which honestly leads me to believe that they intend to add, like, China. There are mods that actually add China and Japan already. My problem, though, with CK3 is I don't want to play it until it's, like, got more stuff in it. What?
Hold on, Sinclair.
Where is Sinclair?
Hold on, Sinclair. Are you trying to tell me that Paradox might have a DLC plan?
I think so. I might even wager that it might be a big one. Oh my god. Could it exceed $100, Kib? I think it might. I think it.
$100. Fuck, I forget what the final price of CK2 was. Like, it was something stupid.
I bet it was funny. It's not funny, Kib. They took all my money. You didn't need that money. What's this Gondor-inspired section where the walls come out by the gate? This is weird.
That's another benefit of the fact that our economy is collapsing. Food
that's good.
prices skyrocketing. Gas, electricity, all whoosh. Because when we don't have any money anymore, DLC will kind of die off because people will expect to just get a complete product. Because that $60 for that video game, that's like all the free spending money they have in a year.
Listen, you gotta start from somewhere. And sometimes you just rock bottom, Blondie. So you gotta actually put that back, or they'll just range down my little chaos dwarves and I'll be sad.
This Hell Cannon is a prestige unit. As a unit of renown. You know this because it's purple instead of red.
Yeah. They changed the color. Patrick, how could they do that? I liked it when it was green.
Ah, fucking Creative Assembly. We'll never sell unit packs again.
Oh, that fucking lie. Like, Empire, Total War, and Napoleon, they got yelled at and they're like, we're not gonna do unit packs no more. Keep promises. As I pinky promise, I pinky promise. And then it's like, what are you doing 5 minutes later with like fucking Shogun? Like, nothing. They're faction packs. It's like, you little fucking whore.
You mean Sinclair, but yes.
Remember when Rome 2 launched, the Greek city-states DLC?
Oh.
It's like, oh, you want to play Athens and Sparta and Epirus? And then people are like, well, guys, you can't complain because by this point, like, Athens and Sparta weren't relevant. And I'm like, okay, so Epirus wasn't? Well, yeah, but they sort of weren't at that point anymore. It's like, that doesn't matter. These are the fucking Greek city-states.
Sparta. You cut out Athens.
Oh...
I hated that so much. And again, people fucking rolled over. They took the cock deep and hard.
And they took it well. Just, Wait, what's that do? Oh, it just magically blows up the wall. Okay. Shatterstone. Is that a thing in Warhammer?
No.
Okay, because that seemed retarded.
I'm going to go and watch some more of my Dota anime. You still owe me Dota, by the way.
Dota anime? What are you talking about?
Yeah, the Dragon's Blood. The one about the Dragon Knight.
What about the why are you retarded, Barge? Yeah, I just different.
It's like Castlevania, but cheaper.
But
Worse.
cheaper and worse. You don't make it sound particularly appealing, Art. You know that, right? So you may sound
Don't
like
worry,
ass, and it might be ass, but you know, it could be worse, I guess. So, okay, fair enough.
Don't worry. Okay, we're playing some more Dota. It'll be fun. We'll have like subscribers on the other team, and they'll be way better than us. So we'll.
And then Arch will hate them.
Yeah, but then I'll handicap them in a custom match. Like they'll get like 1/10 of the gold income. They'll remain at level 1 forever.
So listen, we did this because
And they
you're
whine
gay.
at me, and I just look them in the little eyes and goes, "Get good."
Get good. The best part is how funny it is when you're the one putting handicaps on them. So get better. You just sort of suck at this game, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. If you were good, you could survive the handicap, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, fair enough, that is true.
My fault, you're a bitch-ass loser.
Wow, rude. Can't believe you say that.
I'm gonna point out, Valka's supposed to be prettier than that. She's really ugly.
So she's not supposed to look like a demon, because I thought she was supposed to look like a demon.
She is, but feminine demon.
My little camera doesn't work anymore. Shit. Big sad. She also looks like a potato a little bit. She just flaps her little wings and stabs stuff. I think she's getting shot at, to be honest. But I take the missile reduction thing. This is also the thing. Like, look at all the abilities she has. Like, this is just like at this point, this is just bloat. Somebody's car alarm's going off. They're getting their stuff stolen. Nice. But wow. At least I hope not. What's this do? Blade of corn. A huge explosion. Put the boom boom here.
I
Better look
do
cool.
hate these random fucking battlefield nukes. Like, as if the game wasn't fucking volatile and quick enough. Oh yeah, look at that. Like, would you like to wipe out 3 armies? Yes. Button press.
Yeah, the thing is, like, they all have, like, unique art things for them, but the kind of, again, the problem is everybody has the same spell. This is actually something that when I was working on Terrestrial, it's like, I wanted the magic for different, like, races. Yeah,
You
based.
mean Equestria, but yeah.
Shut
go
up.
on.
I wanted them to be unique, so it's like, okay, this, like, spell casting style is, like, focused more on, like, buffing, and, like, this one's more on, like, doing this, more aggressive and stuff. This one's about, like, taking damage and turning that on its head. And to gain more health, it's to take more damage, but, like, the problem is like, this game doesn't really do all that because they kind of all just do the same thing.
That's a stupid idea, Kyle. If you were really clever, forward thinking like CA, you would just vary the size of the explosion.
Glorious
Vary the
slaughter!
size of the explosion and change the particle effect a little bit.
Yep.
Say, look, it's blue now. Look, that is like 90% of this game, though. It's like, I'm chaos, but pink, and I'm chaos, but green. But
Eviscerate them! Guided
We do
by
the same, but
Valkyrie!
our fluff effects are different.
it's like, I'm a little green, I'm a little pink, and then you're like, I'm the Empire, but a little bit, Empire-y. It's fair enough. I'm the VMPers, and we shoot Death Leech. Now, fortunately, they did nerf Death Leech. That was such a fucking busted spell, but it's still fucking... It's still nasty.
Personified.
Chaos Knights!
When you're just a Chaos Knight.
Queen Ascendant!
Clippity cloppity indeed.
How come I haven't won Barch?
Incompetence.
Racism, Barch, is what I think the real answer is.
Master, behold.
I'm surprised you can play Nagaroth without making it
Warriors of Khorne!
rough.
Nagaroth? Gives up. Barch, I am very funny. Hey, 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 hey.
I am. It's true.
Look, Barch, do you think this is funny? You should no.
No, I'm not looking at the screen right now.
Magic sword. It's like the magic school bus.
Unacceptable loss.
Drakakun.
Valkyrie the bloody.
I do think Drakakun is funny.
You mean Barch Coon?
Drak.
Barch.
It is my will.
You say
Oh,
Barch
look,
don't-
her model has blood on it now. Isn't that fucking adorable?
The worst part is it's just a blood texture effect that's carelessly splattered across the model. Like, what they should be doing is they should actually be customized. Like, yes, I know it's more effort because we're having Sala do that so that the blood is, like, unique for each character that it gets on them. So when they fight, they look like they're covered in blood. Because one thing that they need to do is... Oh, and this is something they don't do. Like, when a character is damaged, they're just covered in blood, just like they are with their enemy. So something that we're working on for the Vigia is, like... Oh, wait, when you attack people, your character will get a little bit of blood on them. And the more stuff they fight, the more a little bit of blood they get on them. And it's like, but when they get damaged, they also get beat up, so that they actually look like they're being damaged. Rather than it's like, it's just a little bit of blood on them. How'd that blood get there? Like, they're actually wounds that open up. Gotta make it look fighty-pighty.
It's pretty gay. I need
Barch-
to return to my my Dota anime now. It has homosexual elves.
Enjoy your Dota anime, you little degenerate. He's dead, Chet. I killed him for good. Clippity cloppity, Kyle is property. Be quiet, get a record. Still better than Age of Sigmar. Accuse him. No kidding. Get a record. I gotta stop saying that. Get a record 10 bits. Say, pay us for patches, lol Lamau. We are CA. Basically, yes. Then he donates. Okay, we're caught up. Thank you for the bits. Appreciate it as always. Now listen, chat. Kibs is really good at Total War games. In fact, I'm basically God. Now you need to worship me. Like, okay, Kibs pieces. Herpa derpa derpa. Perka perka. Occupy and vassalize.
Kneel before your queen.
And now vassalize their entire kingdom. That's funny, chat. Funny, if you will. I'm not too shabby.
Valkyria the Bloody.
Get real Hosnader donates $5. Say, can your enemy's blood give you HIV in your came, Kibs? Don't say your came. That sounds really bad. And also fucking disgusting. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is a pretty bad typo. Nice, chat. Alright, so we finished the Astrian Heavy cohort for the modeling for Terrestrial War. So our first, like, unit is done. So now we're working on the next one, which is the Astrian Pikemen. They're coming next, chat, and I just saw the officer, and he looks pretty cool. Let's see, what else has the dev team been doing when Kibos has been without internet? Carl is exploring countries. That's neat. It's like waddling around Europe. Black donates $2. Say hi, Holzinator. Wow, thank you for the donation. Dota anime is actually really good. They sticky to pre-established characters lore very well. Well, it's too late, Draconis. I don't care about Dota. And Barch is gone. But I mean, that's nice that they're being accurate to the canon, I suppose. Which I guess isn't a shame. More corn effect, we get a demonic attribute. Oh my god. We're gonna take that missile resistance, because that'll help us not get shot out of the sky.
Is unsurpassed.
And then we're gonna take... oh yeah, he's got Immortal, so that means he comes back all the time. That's good. We'll make him beefier. Blade and shield, if you will, Chatty Patty. We also joins to say hi, Black, and yes, it was Lamau. More eye art, please, Kibs. Lol. The way you said that. What are you talking about? Here, chat. I'm gonna grab a drink from the fridge. You can take a moment to admire Aya Vala. She is the youngest child of Crondrius. See, when I say child, that adds a connotation, which then makes this all weird and unsettling. And now I'm sad. But she's an adult. You're fine, chat. I'm in charge of the canon. Now, chat, that does mean, technically, at a whim, I could be like, no, right, see all these pictures? Like, yeah, pretty good. It's like, oh, I made a retcon. Like, oh, no. FBI, here we go. People order the posters and stuff. This is one of the posters that's in development. I don't mind showing the whip progression, but when they're actually finished, I'm going to put them on the website. Actually, no, I don't mind showing people. In fact, the thing is, it's more about if people want to buy them, it's to support us, you know? To help me keep the lights on, so to speak. And the lights are on, by the way. You'll notice that I didn't reset the counter, but that's because we made over the amount, and it's only like a couple days till the end of the month. The count we made this month, though, so don't feel pressured or anything. We're fine, we're good, we're gold, green lights, thumbs up. Hi, Black, and yes, it was Lamau, says Real Hosnader. Thank you for donation. And thank you for the donation, Todd. She's 5,000-year-old, guys. It's alright. That's what I'll do to Celeste. Like, you'll be like, Celeste is a lolly. But like, don't worry, guys, I got you. 10,000 years old. Actually, more so 60,000 years. About 60,000, you know. 60,000? Maybe? Just like, is he being serious or is he being retarded? Or both. You never know. We'll work on the fine-tuning of those numbers. And turn on this light, because it's getting a little dark. All right. Now, if tonight I can remember, I will have a steak and potato. See, I bought that steak and potato, but I still haven't eaten it. But I'm gonna have steak and potato this night. And then as night rolls by, I was like, I'll just have some potato chips and go to bed. 60,000 would be a gulp. Oh, 60,000 would be a gulp, but not 5,000? Jesus Christ. It's just a meme, Abby Doan. Ew. Oh, thank you, monitors, for flickering. There, flicker, flicker. Get a work at 10 bits to say, where can I get my big titty Empress Commander to print out and paint? They don't have models yet. We will give models to heroes like Aya, Rhea, and the other characters. I mean, Celeste has a model, but I can make tabletop rule sets for her, but you're going to be very unimpressed. You'll be like, it's a child, it can't do anything. It's like, yeah, I really can't. She's just going to be useless. She's like, or I could reveal something by mistake and be like, actually, she's a god. And she's like, what the fuck? This one model can wipe out my entire... Didn't Kibs complain about that literally 5 minutes ago? Chat connects the dots. Like, big tinkies.
Blood for the blood god.
I don't like that there's people there. In fact, I think that's kind of cringe. More trolls never hurt nobody, chat. Nobody! Well, you're already at the top, boy. You made it to the tippy top of the pecking order. You know, it's starting to cost more souls, but I think this helps the more things I get. 100% experience per turn for all characters. That's good. Passability Blood Greed for all units with Mark of Corn, plus 50% corn units. Units in the same by already. Skull Cannon. That sounds cute. We need to play with that in order to unlock more damages, chat. Damage. Mad damage. I would like a big giant. Celeste has a special rule. She threatens her own men with a knife if they lose. I'm gonna fucking stab you. It's like, I mean, if you're aware that she's gonna stab you, like, she's not as threatening. But if you don't know and it's random, then you might be in a bit of a pickle. I could hire wolves? I ain't no goddamn furry game. Game's like, okay.
There will always be blood.
Listen, I'm gonna threaten you. Can't say no to me, game. And now we're at war. Skulls for the skull cannon. Basically, yes.
Your wretched flesh will
When it comes to
suffer
art chat, I'll
unspeakable
commission what I
torments.
can, but remember, Kibs has limited resources, and Kibs' resources are entirely dependent on chat, and entirely dependent on YouTube at the same time, and also dependent on several other things, actually, so it's actually not just one thing. So there's no such thing as entirely independent on, or depend on anything, really. I just sort of said that because it sounded cool. It's true. It's not going to be too long, though, chat. In fact... this week, the storyboard should be done. That's our weekly progression. Fuck, I forgot to write that in the fucking weekly goals. Hold on. Every week, we're supposed to write in the weekly goals. I got so sidetracked that I never wrote it during Sunday. Focus on storyboard at Fairman. That's right, Fairman. I just gave you an assignment out of the blue like that. I was thinking about giving that to you, but I just decided to do it now. He's like, why would you do this? We'll talk more about it later, Fairbear. When you're more conscious. I don't feel like it. Honestly, a part of me just wants to waddle my army, just... Like, a part of me wants to subjugate all the chaos dudes and then do, like, the big end times thing and be like, whoa, we have united all the war bands behind me banner. We's gonna come down there and bash your heads in.
Sounds gay.
How you doing, little handsy pansy? He said, firstly, mansy. Secondly, not a pansy. Thirdly, hands. See?
Fourthly,
hands.
I have food.
What are you eating?
Chicken
Pork
with
chop?
potatoes.
I've got potatoes and steak in the fridge. Sad. It's not cooked, though. It's not.
Mine's cooked. Nom nom nom.
Bilious Cliffs. Oh, yeah. Probably should give you an assignment, too, shouldn't I? At some point. We'll be helping Fairbear, by the way. This is something I actually was talking with the team members on, but Fairbear didn't show up today. Fairbear's actually got a good knack for mechanics and designs, chat. I'm actually gonna put more emphasis on Fairbear helping out with the rule set, because if we start to delegate some of the rule sets for the tabletop, the production of that can go much faster. Obviously, we all need to be involved.
Some a bit more than we have.
Yes, that is also another very nice thing. Of the team, I think he's one of the more experienced, along with Carlittle and Baffios, but generally on the Battle Damage Studios teams, we all just sort of give input at any point. It's kind of fairly. You know, that's something we never talk about. Like, so, development teams and studio houses across the board, not just ours, but they're very familial, so to speak. Like,
Find the fight.
when you work on a project, how do I explain this to somebody who might not be a part of a dev team or a studio house or something like that? Like, when you work with these people, you get a very close attachment. You know, it feels sort of like a family sort of mentality internally when you're working on these things. And this happens with a lot of studios. Like, generally, it's like, okay, you look out for each other. Like, you know, let's say something happens to, you know, Indio or something like that. Like, you go out of your way to help them with their own real life stuff as well. Like, if there's issues. Because, you know, you're working together. And the health of the team is important. And if somebody's having a hard time, well, it's important to help them out because, you know, they're part of the team. They shouldn't, like, if they're struggling, we're all struggling. So we're all in it together. We all lift as a team.
Oh, Black.
We're all buff now. Like, oh my God, he's flexing. Oh my God.
Kibs says we all lift together. He lifts the 5-pound dumbbell, and it's like, eh.
Yeah, it's quite heavy. Yes, I'm gonna have to ask you to take over. Need a bit of a break. Sits down, starts eating a donut, like,
It's that scene from Zoolander where he's in the mine and he's like, "You should show fucking hard," and it's like, I forget the main character's name. It's like, whatever it is, you've been working here for a day.
Oh yeah. When he's pretending to be all sweaty and stuff.
And it's like, you barely worked a day.
I came from. Can you confirm if Kibs is just two ducks in a Catboy's dress? Wow. Wank, wank.
Explains the constant bitching.
Black $22 say hi hands. You look at donate 10 bits to say Kibs explains basically we are all queer mode for each other. Yeah, more or less. Like, if something happens to one of the team members, I'll do everything in my power to help them. And, well, you know, things have happened. I'm not going to say what, obviously, but, you know, we all go through things. But you're always there, whether you're backing them up with mun-muns or backing them up with head pats. Sadly, the age of me being able to back up people with mun-muns as much is no longer a thing. But it's important to be there for your team. No matter what. Headphones beeps at me aggressively. Like, beep, beep, beep. Exalted hero. Now, didn't I actually have the ability to recruit that somewhere? You little pansy-mansy. Recruit exalted heroes, but how do I switch settlements while looking?
The little arrows. Click on a settlement.
Okay, this is where I can recruit them. I was like, I'm pretty sure I built a settlement, actually, and I sort of just forgot about it. Or for someplace we all live together, through the cold mist.
Just name the game's trash.
Yeah, I don't like the game that much. Well, the gameplay loop is fun, but it gets old very quickly. For me, very quickly. Like, it's just like the same thing. We're all adrift. Together. I don't remember how it goes, though. It's a good song, though.
Meta Warlock asks, Kibs, would you consider playing the video game Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood?
The
That's
what?
your name. Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood.
Look that up for me while I kill myself. I'm going to manual this back.
Have to put down my potatoes.
It depends. Generally speaking, like, I have a list of games, and that list is huge. If people want games inserted on the list, they're gonna have to give them some moons. But if it looks really good, then I'll actually do it. If it wins me over just by looking at it. And I'll do it for freebies.
Initial release date February 4th, 2021. Single-player video game. Developed by Cyanide. Published by Nacon.
Okay, what does it look like? Actually, just send me a link to it, god damn it. Send it to Kibs.
I was looking at images since you were talking about images. Assuming you wanted sent to Aerith.
No, I said Kibs. I forget that my name is Kyle in the dev server. I was like, that's weird. I don't remember putting my actual first name there. Chesapeake doxed himself. Chad, that's never been a squeaker. It's just the fact that Kyles have a negative connotation because many of them are inferior and weak. Weak.
Nurgle's pestilent glory.
Nurgle's pestilent glories. Oh, wow, ants.
All reviews, according to Steam, is that it is mixed. 69% positive.
I mean, I like mediocre games. Like Battle Engine Aquila is one of my favorite games. And it's pretty mediocre. But I like Battle Engine Aquila.
Third-person brawler?
Brawler? There's some gameplay footage.
You can look on Steam.
You sent me a fucking official store page, you son of a bitch.
I did.
What's the game called? Werewolf.
On Steam, the tags are action, adventure, single player, third person.
Hold on.
Apparently you can turn into a werewolf and a dog I've seen.
That sounds very furry.
Peggy 16.
But I'm not 16 anymore, games. I don't care. My god, I think I about wanted to kill myself by seeing the fact that your dog. That does look kinda on the mediocre side right off the bat. Because you can just look at a game sometimes and be like, yeah, I can kind of see that. Oh, it's set in the fucking... that universe, I think. The...
That
World of
universe.
Darkness.
Is it World of Darkness?
I mean, the fighty part doesn't look too bad. But it
That
looks a
doesn't
little on
make-
the arcadey
If
side.
that's World in Darkness, then that doesn't make sense. Because werewolves operate in packs, unless they're a glasswalker. In which case they act solo.
Yeah, but video game logic. I don't know. I'm not particularly convinced. Particularly. Kibs is the same year as Vampire the Masquerade. Yeah, see, I told you, Hanse. I'm smarter than Hanse. Hanse.
The thing is, I'm just reading the description because I'm not that familiar with the World of Darkness. So when I see names like, you know, like the big clan names like Zemitzi, Gangrel, Nosferatu, it's like, okay, I have an idea. But I'm not familiar in the slightest with werewolves and what their deal is about.
I'm not particularly interested. The World of Darkness stuff, like, it's interesting on paper, but when I read into it, it didn't really click with me. Like, the video games were okay. I know Barch is way more into it than I am. For me, I was like, you know, it just didn't really click. Not that it's bad or anything, just
Of
flavor.
course it didn't click. When you were doing the tutorial, you refused to read the tutorial.
I don't want to read the tutorial, and I don't have to if I don't wanna. It's true.
So be it.
It is true. That's not the game's fault.
That's what the masters made. Chaos Marauders! Recarnage! Ready! Now! Moving! Get them!
The only thing I remember about that universe is that during, like,
Gods command me!
what was it, World War I, World War II, somewhere in there, Baba Yaga got really pissed off. And so basically the werewolves and vampires of Europe and Russia were cut off because Baba Yaga got really, really angry.
That's stupid.
Faster!
It may be stupid, but you don't mess with Baba Yaga.
Faster!
Baba Yaga, mess with you.
For chaos! Move on them! For the chaos gods!
Oh, I can't attack from there. Derp, I didn't realize that there was a wall there. See, I looked at this and thought, oh, you know, they'll easily be able to go through here. But no, that's intraversable terrain, chat. Because that gate doesn't open, and secondly, they can't just, like, you know, push that thin little paper mache wall over. God fucking damn.
Reap their soul!
Thanks, Get a Real Haircut. He says, hey Kibbles, from a dev perspective, what are your thoughts on the defunct Firefall and the new Ember project from pretty much the same team? Extra bits for a proper answer and thoughts. He donated 50 bits.
Who?
Get a Real Haircut. Or do you
No,
mean
no,
the team?
no, I know Get a Record, but who this is team?
Defunct Firefall and the new Ember. I'm assuming it's meant to be read as Ember. E-M-8-E-R.
I have never heard of these things. Google them and send them to me, slave. He's like, hey, it's hate.
Time to despoil!
Is it really Hands though?
Wolfman,
Or is it Hines?
your will!
Well, I mean, we're wearing the dwarves down, so that's true.
Destroy their homes! Yes! They will succumb!
I sign in and I immediately see a waifu.
Retreat!
Multiple waifus.
And the thing is, I have no context for what the heck it is, any of this is. Defunct Firefall and the new EM8 Ear project. Pretty much the same team. So from the same people, but one of them's defunct, so they fucked up, I assume? Or got fucked up or something? I don't know.
Yes!
Mech versus Kaiju game
They will
is what it's
succumb!
saying on their little webpage.
Steam. I don't want their web link. Steam page normally has the useful information. The web page is normally filled with useless pictures. Because most websites are just garbage.
Well, you see, here's the issue. It isn't on Steam, so
Okay.
you're going to have to deal with it.
Fair enough, Hands. I'll give you that then.
Destroy their holes!
Those damn units won't die, Chad. Oh, they are. They're slowly dying.
Oh, a mech versus kaiju MMO. So says their FAQ.
Send it. Send it, Haynes. Just send it. I'm dying. Most people here who hear Kyle either think of South Park or Rittenhouse. Damn. Just another
Apparently,
kid.
he's countersuing a lot of people.
Who?
Kyle. For
Oh.
defamation and shit like that from way back when, you know.
That's not relevant to the Sunder, whatever the fuck. Finally, the fucking link. Jesus, dying of old age. Alright, let's take a look at this. And my willpower to give a shit is dropping drastically. What is this? Kaiju, what's new? Oh my god, this is useless. Where's...
I really don't like... I'll say this immediately. I don't like for their FAQ, it has the question, and then the answer you have to click on because it's a spoiler.
No.
Typically, if people go to the FAQ, they want answers.
I'm gonna move
so they
it
don't
over
care.
there, because I immediately already am frowning at the art style. I can tell you
did
right now, I don't give a shit. I don't. Like,
Like
it's
I
just
told
a
you,
bunch of
waifus.
art. No, there's nothing to work with. Like, I can't work with that. I have no context for the situation. My opinion is, it's trash. There. My opinion. I saved you a headache. Don't worry about it. Useless, worthless, they don't matter. Holzner donates $5 say Lamau hands. That was beautiful.
Apparently, Get a Real Haircut was mentioning that Mark Kern is making it, and he was also a WoW dev.
That means nothing. I don't know who Mike Kern is. And here's
Or
the
sorry,
other
Mark.
thing.
Mark Kern, not Mike Kern.
Here's the other thing. Okay, with names and shit, like, names mean fuck all. Like, that's the reality here. Like, a lot of people, in my opinion, and this is my whole fucking shtick on it, it's not about the individual, it's about the team. Individuals play a role, and that's something I've learned just from witnessing things. Like, sure, you can have, like, I worked on the Command & Conquer games. Like, oh, great, good for you. That means nothing, though. Like, what did you do? Like, you worked on it isn't enough. Like, that means shit. What did you do? Did you, like, design anything? Did you... And that doesn't mean anything. Did they go with your designs? Or were you just the guy who's like, how about we implement more fucking grind? Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, great. You're the guy who ruined it. Like, the thing is, like... And that's me being a little bit overly cruel, but it boils down to... That means nothing. A lot of these former Blizzard and former this and former that people equate to jack diddly shit. In fact, more people that actually have any semblance of talents as individuals come out when it comes down to, like, people like fucking the guy Factorio Dev and those kinds of things. But when it comes to, like, studios and development teams as a whole, you have an atmosphere there, you have a crew there, and everybody working together creates a unique flavor. For example, our own studio, Battle Damage Studios, is very unique in how it operates and how it works and whatnot. But the minute that team, like, if one person were to leave, it would not be a big deal. If two people leave, it wouldn't be the biggest of deals. But it also depends on who leaves, right? And what they're doing, so to speak, and who comes in. That will change things. For example, Sala stepping up to the bat for the art was actually huge. Because Sala helped redefine the actual, like, style as a whole. But generally speaking, Like, Sala's art is great and whatnot, but if he wasn't a part of this team, his art would not be the style and the format that it is in the way it is for our stuff. If he worked for another project, it'd still be Sala drawing it, but it wouldn't be the same. His art would not be the same in the slightest. Studios have atmospheres, and these atmospheres are indescribable, these cultures. Because every studio, the way I view it, is a family. And when you leave a family and you move to another family, it's a completely different atmosphere and a completely different mentality there. None of them have ever been the same, at least from the other developers I've talked to, as well as just from my own personal experience. Okay, we're just gonna have to siege those down. But that's the issue. The issue is they try to bank on their previous thing, like, I worked on this thing. That's great, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, that's good, but like, what did you actually do? And that's the problem. That's the problem I have with all this stuff. It's like, yeah, good point, Todd. He says Back 4 Blood is a great example of a team that didn't learn anything from developing Left 4 Dead. You know what Back 4 Blood and Evolved teaches as lessons, chat? It teaches us that the team actually wasn't what made those games actually good. In fact, it wasn't the team that made the Left 4 Dead games. It was actually the direction from Valve and Valve's quality control that ensured the Left 4 Dead games being the way they are. Valve, like them or hate them, their games are well made. It's like Nintendo. Nintendo, by and large, too, like, all the criticisms
You
I'll
can
level at
say
them.
many things about Nintendo products, but they are always at least of a minimum quality.
Quality assurance teams and the fact that they have a minimum level standard is actually huge factors here. That's why there's problems with Creative Assembly, with the quality of their games being, you know, sometimes, well, back in the old days, really good, to just now they're just kind of fucking... they're games. They exist, and that's kind of like their big note.
Spill blood! For corn!
For corn. Meh.
It matters not from whence the blood flows.
So long as it flows. I added to her dialogue to make it more long. Chatter, why'd you do that?
My proficiency is unsurpassed.
So what vassal does the game give it to when you say give to vassal?
It gives it to the vassal, like, part of that region that the AI deems that belongs to. Like, the Tong Norskins, because part of their province. But I took the capital of the province, but it gifts it to the other guy. That seems to be how it works. Versus here, there was no other, like, vassal here. This was just a chaos faction that couldn't be vassalized, so I occupied it. That seems to be the common thing here. But yeah, that was a good reference, Todd. Back 4 Blood is an excellent example of this. But yeah, when it comes to that, that's my answer. Get back to that. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't know the context of who they are. Oh, okay, let's see. Red 5 Series made Firefall. Mark Kern is make you about to have side rechant. We read that. But the other hand, if Kibs calms himself enough, you need to read it. You dummy, you gotta actually write into context. Otherwise, I go with what I got. And if you give me only a potato, I've gotta work with a potato. But no. The reason why I get uppity about it is because I'm so tired of companies and games just constantly telling me, like, oh, I worked on this project. That's cool. But, like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, you worked on Command & Conquer.
The thing is, you already know the answer. It's
I know,
marketing.
I know, I'm just mostly saying it to chat, like the way I'm asking the question here. I know what it means. The thing is, like, does that mean that it's, how does this affect the product? Is it going to be like Command & Conquer? Like, what were you? Were you the artist? Were you the writer? Are you going to write something like kind of similar in the Tiberium veins, or is it something similar in the Red Alert veins? How does this tether here?
Fafnir Bane, yes, that is a quest battle, Provoca. Or at least, it's at least a quest battle.
I get mad mostly, not at you, Haircut, just the fact that I've had this stuff said all the time by developers that talk to us and be like, or not talk to us, but like, you know, when they make their statements and stuff, they say like, oh, we're doing this thing, and it's like, and I worked on this thing. It's like, okay, what does that mean? Like, were you the writer? Should I expect the same level of writing? Should I expect the same level of art? Were you the, multiplayer designer? Like, or were you the game designer? Like, what are you saying here? Like, you worked on Command & Conquer. Okay, you have experience. Well, I mean, that's good, but experience isn't the be-all, as we've seen with many indies. Many indies have proven to us that it's actually not actually the be-all. In fact, it seems to be the opposite. In fact, new blood in the industry actually seems to provide the most fresh ideas when it comes to, like, new games on the scene. Like Valheim and Minecraft and all these other things that sort of exploded. A lot of these big things came from people that came out of the blue, and were just messing around and like, whoops, I made a fucking mega hit. And that's good for them, but it's one of those things where it's like, you got to give me more information than you worked on this thing. It's like, okay, what did you do on this thing? Because just because you're a writer, by the way, doesn't mean that your ideas were accepted, or a designer, your ideas accepted. Were you the lead designer? Like, were you the one coming up with the vision, so to speak? Because that could have some value. But like, if you were working on this project and everything you did got rejected, or worse, got accepted, and that's what led to the state it's in, that's not a good sign. They're offering me money to join war against somebody down there. Sure, I don't care. They're just orky borkies to me. Hey Kibs, hello Kairos. Why are you putting a question mark there, you little sloot? Sudden Cringe says, I worked on with Quake, the original. I was the janitor. Yeah, that's the thing, Sudden Cringe. Like, don't get me wrong though. Not to demean janitors, because janitors are actually extremely goddamn important. Having a good janitor for a facility can actually keep this facility running top notch and staying nice, clean, orderly.
Any crew that's responsible for cleaning up the physical environment is actually extremely understated in a lot of situations.
Honestly, they actually deserve a lot more praise. Like, it's more of a joke to say the janitor thing, but like, not like, janitors are actually
Don't get me
really
wrong,
worthwhile.
some people take it too far. I'm an environmental engineer. It's okay, bro, chill.
It's like, all right.
You're a janitor, okay? Don't take it too far. But like, proper janitors, they actually do get compensated reasonably
They're also
well.
excellent handymen, generally.
Yeah, typically the janitors that get paid well are the ones that like also go around and like help fix things and do stuff like that.
If you have something busted, they're generally good at fixing it or jury-rigging it to work until a replacement can be found.
Raise the guns
Or no, don't do that.
by my black will.
Oh, racism. Just, oh my god. Beast? Question mark? Chet, bed.
A bloodbath comes.
Are you gonna run away like a little bitch? He's like, I float on my little saucer of sadness.
Spare none.
And that was his entire army completely eradicated.
Blood for the blood god.
Get her a haircut,
Mistress
gave
of
you
skulls.
100 bits to give a bit more background to the thing.
You didn't have to do the bits. You already gave bits. You could have just expanded without doing that, but I appreciate it. He said the idea initially from Firefall, which failed, is a AI-controlled overmind faction controller that acts in live response to player actions. In the game, in the world, not in dungeons. I.e., if the players are farming a certain resource, the AI will increase pressure to take and capture the territory and deny resource acquisition. The AI, in theory, can take action to take over warp points, cities, etc. Okay, so it's a PvE game. I mean, the idea itself is, like, I still don't know, like, a lot about this game, but premise-wise from what you said there, like, it sounds like, you know, the big focus would be, okay, it's PvE, so balance isn't the worst thing, because it's like, okay, you can worry about it in a very specific way, because that's the benefit of PvE. So design-wise, it's okay to make things a little imbalanced, because PvE games are alright doing that, because the player will generally overcome 90% of obstacles most of the time, because most of the time I'd like to believe players are good. Then again, I do remember seeing the journos at Gamescom play games, and I retract my statement.
I will never forget the James journalist that tried to play the Cuphead
Armaments
tutorial.
worthy of corn.
That's pretty bad. You know what's painful? Watching the games journalists play Tempest Rising, that RTS game. I think I about almost had an aneurysm watching that.
Sweet
I was like, oh my god, please just, no, god, please just play the game. No! They're like, go move the unit one at a time. Like, no! They use the little buttons in the bottom left-hand corner to move the unit, and it's like, just right-click on the map. Fucking kid, help me.
There are certain like techniques that I don't get too annoyed if I'm watching someone who's like just trying it, but it's like after a certain point, it's like, okay, this is like basic bitch. Like, you should know this if you've played a real-time strategy.
We'll auto it, and then we'll just have them chill here. Because what we'll do is we'll... Actually, no, wait. Our armies can go into, like, horde mode, sort of. We're gonna raise it.
Lord of Corn!
If it's like the proper Corn faction, I think they might get some bonuses to movement after raising a settlement. Might.
Slaughter begets rewards.
Slaughter begets tisms. He's like, that's fair. But yeah, when it comes to that, like, that's an interesting idea, but I don't really know how they failed, per se. Overworked Magi donates $5. Ion Cannon ready. Ion Cannon was... see, I love the idea of the Ion Cannon, but I need to be honest. Tiberium Dawn, the first game, is basically useless. It's inferior to the Nod's nuke. The second game, same thing. The Ion Cannon kind of sucks. But it does do terrain deformation, and in the Tibson engine, that's cancer. Because it makes terrain unbuildable unless you build concrete on it. Because there's no way to change the terrain, which is a big problem with Tiberian Sun that I have. So eventually everything's so lumpy you can't build anywhere. Cancer. Cancer! But the second... I do love the terrain deformation, but they need the ability to deform it, terraform it, so to speak, to what you need. I think Command & Conquer Tiberium Wars was the only game where the Ion Cannon was actually good. Because it actually did something. Even then it needed a little bit more of a buff, but it was at least functional. At least did something.
Sword Maiden of the Blood God.
Damon Cannon.
I demand absolute fealty.
Mad Damon. Just a sad little whimper in the background from Hanse. He's just a little baby Damon. Listen, chat, we have colonized many peoples. Like, he said words and letters and weird sentences.
The land is infected. Lord of War!
But there's just not enough information to work off of. I mean, generally it's like, when you want to understand how a game failed, you need to actually read deep into it. That's actually something I can talk about, because I actually studied very closely at Peter Molyneux's game stuff when I was actually getting into game making itself. Because Peter Molyneux as a character fascinated me, mostly because of his work with Lionhead Studios and Bullfrog, with like Dungeon Keeper and the Black and White franchise more specifically. I was absolutely fascinated with Black and White as a concept, as a strategy game, a city builder where you play as a god. It absolutely, I was infatuated by the whole concept, the novelty of it. But it was always kind of like a beta and sort of watered down. And I wanted to understand, like, how and why. And then the more I read into it, and it was, well, boiled down to just incompetence and ineptitude. Like, Peter Molyneux was just incompetent. He was kind of a blithering idiot. He was good at pitching great ideas and had great concepts in his head, but by God, the man couldn't commit to anything. He would constantly change things. He would talk too much. He would say too much. And he wouldn't, be gentle about leaking things or, like, spreading things. Or what's not leaking things? Well, yeah, the thing is, when you develop something, right, you should be honest about it. That's always been my opinion. It's like, I want to put this system in a game, and I'm going to do everything in my power to put in there, but, until it's in the prototype, it's possible that it might not make it. It might not quite make the cut. That's interesting. Am I most dangerous when I'm bored? What? Yeah, I'm bored. I kind of want to go to bed. It's like, okay, fair enough.
Skulls for the Skull Throne.
Ah, there's that Archaon slut over there. Ice Peter Moss, the most dependable game developer. Yes, and I was interested because I very much like his style of games as a kid. And I never actually understood that Black and White was a beta. In fact, I never knew that. I never knew that Fable was an unfinished product either. I was always under the impression that these games were actually, you know, well developed. And it turned out that no, they weren't. They were incomplete. They were very much,
For me, that was KOTOR
betas.
1 and more so KOTOR 2.
But that game actually at least made it. Like, you can actually play through it, and it more or less has most of what it intended to have. Yes, there's some cut content.
Oh, no, I was saying, like, that's more 2 than 1.
Okay, because, like,
2
Black
had,
and
2
White
had,
is
2 had a
particularly
lot
bad
of
with
cut
this.
content.
Like, Black and White 2 is one of, I think, the worst, because it's literally just the beta. And then they called it good. Like, it has an unfinished warfare system that barely works. It's got, like, some bugs in it that are pretty bad, and that modders have done their best to try to fix, and a bunch of other things, but it's really good. It's a really good concept. Like, I love Black and White 2. I'd have a difficult time recommending it, but it's one of the, like, the only good god games where you can actually play as a god and really feel godly. 1 is a bit better in the sim aspect than 2, but 2 has got a lot more refined things, and 1 is also like a tech demo too. Like, they're both just, they lack the polish. Dracona says that the ion cannon could almost one-shot anything, though, including things in its very small AoE in Tiberium Dawn. My economy was crippled almost constantly by using AI using it even in campaign mode. Okay, so, like, compare that to the nuke thing. Like, I'm sorry, Draconis. Actually, no, I'm not. The ion cannon comes nowhere near the nuke in any fathomable thing. Is it is it a weapon that's a bit annoying? Yes. Is it as powerful as the nuke? God, no. It is so magic, like, even in the multiplayer side of things, like, it's so not worth it.
Feast before battle.
It's just not good. It's not a good weapon in the slightest. Irredeemable. The
Generally
Bassman.
speaking, everyone who I've heard talk about
Bringer
it,
of glory.
it's a generally held
March
position
or die.
that the nuke is superior to the ion cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Blood rage is ecstasy.
Wow. You're the Hanse. Blood rage is ecstasy, Hanse.
Sounds kind of Swaneshy.
Hanse like, oh my god.
I will dismember you and hang your intestines from the nearest.
I should have known that inevitable betrayal was coming, Jet. That's okay. I'll get to you, you filthy dark elves. Your time is coming, mark my words. I didn't mind Red Alert 3. Red Alert 3 was unfortunately too much focus on the micro. But Red Alert 3, if you play it with a friend through the campaign, it's actually quite fun. But I do think that Red Alert 3 suffers from the focus of micro intensity over macro. Because the Command & Conquer franchise is not about... Like, micro play is important, but the macro was actually also an equal valid play style. Red Alert 3 kind of diminishes the macro a bit, which is a bit annoying. Also, Red Alert 3 in general, I do not like the resource method of gathering. Resource nodes and nodes with limited resources. Did not like that. I prefer Tiberian Sun and Red Alert 2 with replenishing resource nodes. And technically Red Alert 1, because Red Alert 1 had that too. Red Alert and Tiberium Dawn had that, but it was so slow. Resource generation that was passive was incredibly slow. Like, out-harvesting the resource nodes was
The issue
easy.
with limited resources on the map, it basically boils down to the problem of Age of Empire 2 games that go on for an extremely long time. You end up only seeing the basic units, because all the other units that use the special resources that are not, well, I say special, just the resources that are not food, or anything you can trade for food, you just don't see them, because they're so expensive to get.
For the blood god!
Yeah.
This aids the cause of war. Het woman.
Alright, I need to go back and crush that army over there. Now, fortunately, I am farming a shit ton XP by doing this, so... I mean,
yeah,
it has its
reminds me of
benefits.
it reminds me of the thing you could do in Warhammer 1, where you could stay in your own settlement, go into raiding stance, and then your settlement would get pissed off, right? And spawn an army. Because, you know, you're raiding them. Then CA saw people doing this and exploiting it, and then they said, if you raid your own territories, your people don't get that mad, really.
Actually, you know what? I do like the Lord when he's savaging, ransacking and pillaging our lands. Thank you, Lord. Thank you very much.
They made it so it's just like a negative on your economy if you do that. It's like, really? Like, I get where they're coming from with it, but it's like, way to punish the player for using the mechanics in unintended ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Like when I mentioned, like, I don't know if anybody in here is actually in our Discord, but when I occasionally talk about game design, like when it comes to issues and bugs and things that needs to be like patched out. But if it's like an exploit that's possible, but the game's fun and it's a fun thing to do and it's an optional thing to do, my general philosophy is if it's fun, why fix it? That's good. As long as it adds something to the game, even if it's like an unintended thing. Because when it comes to me playing games, if there's an exploit in a game, when it comes to a PvE game, that's not nearly a big concern at all. Because it's like you can just sort of monkey around with it. Like if it's a game-breaking exploit, then it needs to be fixed. But if it's generally something that's like, oh, this is a quirky bug, but it's kind of fun to work with, that can be more or left intact, or maybe not left intact, but gone back and actually polished into the actual thing as a... turn it into what we call a mechanic. Now, some might be like, Kib, you're Todd Howard now. But, no. It's not like leaving a bug and unfixing. It's like, oh, that's an interesting thing. That'd be cool if that was like a spell or something.
Slaughter commence.
That's never happened, but if it did happen, I'd be like, that'd be something I would probably check out. We've never had a bug turn into a spell. Because the last bug that I can remember easily was when we slide the UI elements around on the screen. And it's because, for those who are new, in our game, you open up the spell book or any of the menus, and generally you can move them around, and when you close them, it saves the location. In the earlier builds of the game, about a half a year ago, or about a year ago, or maybe over half a year ago, in one of the earlier builds, when you slid the spell book off the screen and closed it, because you could slide it off, because you could accidentally slide it out of the screen, you couldn't open it again, because it saved it outside of the space. It's like, no more spells for me, I guess.
For Carnes!
I'll take those souls.
Burn it all! Lord of Rage!
Lord of Rage, Hanse. Rage, rage.
Rewards for the mighty.
Rewards for the hands. I think it could probably afford more armies. I might have been neglecting that handsy-pansy.
The thing is, the game punishes you for making economy armies.
Who's the better guy, metal or fire? Fire sounds cool, but metal sounds metal.
Fire is good DPS. I don't I'm pretty sure fire is above metal in terms of just utility. Because fire also has the spell which increases a unit's attack by like a ridiculous amount. It's like, I think by 40 or 20, something like that. The big one that you actually want to look for wizards is go to fire and look at their abilities. Chosen from that, and then what's the other one beneath it? None of these guys have the trait that's the good one. The trait that you really want to look for is anything that gives you bonus to winds of magic. That
We'll
one
try
is
the
not.
toasty boy.
I want to say the one with the chaos mirror that reduces spell time is not terrible though.
I could have waited, but I elected not to. And I'm going to cancel that building because I don't want that. And instead, we're going to build a new Chaos Lord. More chaos. Are you a god? Is that a reference to Ghostbusters, chat? It's like, my god, Kip. They all realize it is. Like, holy shit.
Distraction for all.
What do you think of that, chat? I blew your fucking little chat mind, didn't I? Chat's like, I don't even know what to. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yes, our ruinous powers. Fool.
Siphon power.
They will be dominated.
Dream magic.
No, go into army.
Magic is chaos. It's mine.
That was a dialogue line you said at me, and I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's kind of cringe, but you know, I'm kind of over it a little bit. I'm going. Kislev looks like a blasted hellhole.
That sounds about right.
Now, where were we, chat? We have many characters to move.
Forged for murder.
Okay, this is a castle. Okay, we're gonna
Spill blood for
just gonna do this. Gonna boop. Oh, it's gone.
violence and death. It matters not from whence the blood flows.
Only that it
Mistress of
flows.
Skulls.
Meh.
I guess Corrin gets a tiny bit more pleased when she's on that time of the month.
That's a bit gross. But, I mean, it is what it is, chat.
Look, rules is written. That's all I'm saying.
Rating doesn't matter to me that much.
I relish such power.
This army's gonna run because they're little bitches.
Don't forget about the quest battle up there, too.
Oh, I just need to get rid of that army because being cancer. Next character we have is this broski. He's just chilling. He needs to be built up and then sent against the dark elves. The cringe elves, if you will, chat. Okay. You know, we could give him one of those.
Now is chaos. You have my
Some damages.
yes, my ruinous powers. They will be dominated.
Okay, we have an army of sorts. We can get waddling.
Spread ruin on them.
True chaos awaits.
Moving now.
What do you mean?
Now is chaos.
I don't understand. Skip. Corn.
But on that is technically not accurate. Kislev is based on both
Don't forget to read it.
Russia and Polish.
Well, don't just remember read, because not everybody can see.
I was going to read it after I gave the answer, Kibs.
No,
Then
don't
you
give the
interrupt-
answer. No, read the question first. Be like Abaddon says. Well, Kislev is based on Russia. Did you expect some nice play? And then give the answer. Otherwise, if you give it backwards, that's just confusing. Oh no, Archaon the Everslut here.
You know what my favorite part about his lore is?
He's dumb. He is actually dumb, unironically.
That he got hit in the balls by an orc.
Yep.
That's actually canon.
The other thing that's cancerous with Archaon the Everchosen is like his fall. He's like, at his weakest moment, he's like, Sigmar, help me. And then he's like, actually, you know what? Sigmar didn't answer my prayer, so I'm gonna cry and be mad. It's like, okay, dude, whatever. Fucking cringe.
And I was like, I'm going to defy destiny by basically doing the thing I was destined to do.
I'm gonna be predictable as shit, brother. You gotta get rid of these beasts, man. The constant running back and forth is quite cringe in this game.
You would be wise to give me absolute loyalty.
See, it wouldn't actually be a problem if I was playing an Empire faction. But I need to build more armies. I've been a little bit conservative with purchasing new dudes.
Well, it's because until relatively recently, they punished you so heavily with upkeep if you made a second or third army. And I'm not even talking like just additional unit upkeep. I'm referring to the additional logistics supply line or whatever the fuck they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Just arbitrarily an additional like 15 or 20% upkeep in, what was it, Warhammer 2? And then they reduced that in 3.
Something like that.
It was fucking crippling.
It was goddamn cancer, but it was, Hanse. I also noticed that Chaos don't create rifts when they destroy things anymore. I think they got rid of that. Because it used to be in the Total War 1. I mean, I never really played Chaos after Total War 1 because they were just such a terrible faction because they had no mechanics. But, like, I remember it being like they destroy a settlement and then there'd be like a little rift and then it would slowly, the territory would be filled up with Chaos. Which was kind of a neat idea, except it was kind of just awful because everyone just resettled instantly and there was no penalty. It's like, oh god help me. So they have a territory claiming mechanic now, which seems to be a common thing. Alright, we need to go over there and crush out Ever-Chosen, but at the same time we should get rid of that quest battle.
Quest battle is technically closer.
The lack of fighting agitates me. The road to carnage.
Wait, so what about you? What do you think of the road to carnage? It's okay, it's carnage.
No, the last time I played this, I played as a vampire, so I don't know anything about the road to carnage.
He's like, I just hissed at people. Sort of like Rosa does.
I don't hiss.
I could if I wanted. So, okay, whatever you say. Wink.
I'm no guinea pig eater.
Vermin Slayers? Damn. That's Rat Catcher's Outpost, Catcher's Camp, Vermin Slayers. That could be useful for finding the Skaven.
Just detects their Undercity.
Unfortunately, they kind of fucked up Kislev in this game. Kislev is just like Russia, but its gimmick is Russia, Bear is an ice, and that's its gimmick. Versus Kislev of yore was like a cool sort of just generalized Slavic nation with lots of influences and inspirations from various Slavic cultures in the Baltics.
If I remember, the Ice Queen, I forget her name. Like, that's how much I don't care. Her, like, mount was like an ice sled. Or something like that.
There's an explosion.
Oh.
And then it rigged.
Oh, so and again, I do despise how the fucking, like, heads of the religion in this game, like, the religious, like, lords, they just have a consistent, like, they're just always trash. Volkmar the Grim is kind of bad, and then the, head Orthodox guy, his, like, special abilities and talents are also trash.
Sword Maiden of the
But that's
Blood
funny. You're like, no, it's not. It makes hands mead.
Forget it.
How do I get there?
Never.
I'm right next to it. I don't understand. Oh my god, you have to teleport.
No, you should be. No, you don't need to teleport. You should be able to do it with
I can't.
The general.
Reforged
It's actually next out.
Why?
Why?
No,
I know
no,
you used
'cause
to be able to, but you can't anymore.
Forget it.
No, like that's wrong. Like I've done
No.
this in 3. You can walk up to quest battles if it's that general.
Not Korn's will.
But I'm right here,
Never.
Hanse.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why? What does it say is the requirements for it? The following battle with Felk of the Bloody's army, no restrictions.
Guess we'll just teleport there. We gotta fight
Unless,
North
no, unless that was a different quest.
Perhaps. Either way, we'll get it done. Abaddon, that just shows how little you know about Baltic cultures. Because the thing is, Russia is not a homogenous nation. Never has been.
If you're going to be realistic, like, the Russia that people know would be more equivalent to about, like, what is it, 5 nations? Something like that?
Maybe several. Maybe even more. Because generally Russia is not a unified, homogenous culture. They're mostly, like, that's what they call the Federation, or an empire, and back in the olden days, because they're basically several dozen cultures, all forced under one umbrella, through various, means. Generally through force.
Historically, it's been through force.
Mm-hmm. But that's why when the Baltics were finally free, their culture flourished and was reborn. Despite all the years of being repressed. Or the Ukrainians, or the Polish, or the various, what do you call them? Like, Armenian area and stuff like that, and Georgians. Like, all of those cultures are very unique, and have very different flavors compared to your average areas. Like, Muscovy, comparatively, is also quite different. Like, they're all unique. Just like China. China's the same way. There's the Han Chinese, there's the Manchu, there's fucking, goddamn, there's the Tibetans, there's so much others. There's those, oh god, the desert people. There's also Mongolians.
And the rat men, craven they may be, but always willing to brawl for their worthless lives. Perhaps some will be worthy enough to stay here and fight for Khorne forever. Let us find out. It is done!
The heart here. Covering ground. Moving out. Hunting souls.
Hunting souls. What are you looking for? Some souls. Summon from beyond, hands.
The damning gate.
This will do more damage here.
Yep, take it at the Skaven artillery.
Lord of the Rings music play. I mean, they basically stole from Lord of the Rings to this IP anyway, so it's fine.
Dracona
Might as well steal the
says
music.
their official name is still the Russian Federation. I believe they currently have 22 states, including the recently reacquired Chechnya.
Not Chechnya. Like, no, the fucking name of Chechnya gives me a bit of autism.
I'm aware of Chechnya as a place, but when I see it spelled, my brain for half a second always goes, it's like, huh?
Chechnya? It's like, Hanse, racist. Hanse can't control himself. I'll just fucking order them to attack. I wish you could split screens like you could in Supreme Commander. That'd be kind of useful. Fucking voice.
Draconis continues trying to basically genocide everyone that wasn't ethnically Han. It's an ancient policy of genocide dating back to the Qin Empire.
It is, but they also failed. Because even to this day, and they're still trying to this day. Like, genocide is not something that happens easily.
It requires a lot of concerted effort to
Remove a group of people permanently.
quote-unquote do it right.
Valkia the Bloody!
And our official statement is, or, stance, not statement, that was the word I was trying to remember, is that that's bad. You don't do that.
That is bad. That goes without even saying, even. We don't even say that. There's common sense. Demons is...
Exalted hero of Khorne. Kill them all.
Valkia the Bloody!
Almost got rid of all their little hero dudes.
No, hey, it's Corn, or one of Corn's, dude peoples.
Yeah, I got one of these bloodthirsters, what they're called. Big demons.
Bloodthirsters. No, I knew it was something with like, along those lines, I just couldn't quite remember.
What do you think of that, champ? Pretty accurate? Like, yeah, pretty much. You pretty much nailed it on the head, to be honest. The voice acting of this goddamn game is so special.
The Gore Queen!
When he's just demons. I got one of those bell things in there.
Mm-hmm. I think they changed the model of those, or at least it's a special version. Oh, that's the plate grease version of it, that's why.
Bang, bang.
I really hated that thing.
Master, behold!
Even as when playing as Skaven, I never mounted any of my generals on it.
Exalted hero of Corn!
This battle, for being like a hero battle thing, it's kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie to you.
To be fair, it was technically a 3-on-2,
Slaupnir thirst!
and your side was the 3.
Skulltakers decree.
I think those Skaven over there are just sort of bugged.
Exalted hero of Corn! Maneuvering!
We about got him beat. What do you think, Chet? Winning? Like, nope. Losing. It's okay.
Yes!
This forest, you can't really see what's happening because the trees are kind of ugly.
Valkia the Bloody!
Poor little squeevanses.
I don't fail!
Should probably have those guys pull back because they're getting low.
Skull crushers of
These guys pull back. My hiccups.
Bye.
Because God said so. So why would he do this?
Certain death!
The bells moving the way they do fucking bother me on a level I cannot describe.
Like I said, I don't like them.
Like the models themselves wiggling and dingling their bells is cute, but like how they just like go forward like that and backwards, like that's just, I don't like that. That looks stupid. Just like my magic sword coming from heaven.
Technically coming in from the warp. Abaddon says the bell tolls for thee.
For the kill!
You know what's really funny about that quote?
Shield Maiden!
A lot of people misuse it.
Chaos Warrior!
Because
But that's funny.
The full quote is actually meant to be a somber thing, and if you're saying the full quote, I would say it, but I forget it, I'd have to look it up now. You would actually say that for someone who you would, like, you're genuinely sad that they're dead. That's the only time you would actually want to use that quote, if you're using the full quote as it was intended to be used.
But people turn it on its head. Because people are special, and sadly things are, well, you know how we are. We wiggle. We're humans. We make noises sometimes. So why did they do that? It's kind of cringe. Poor Slaconis. He is but a simple-minded creature. Easily blinded by his own slutty ways. That's true. Bit of a whore, that one. Listen, chat. I can't help if I'm that good.
Into the pyres!
Like, as they just burn.
Valkyria the Bloody!
Witchborn pendant?
Sword Maiden of the Blood God!
Wait, so that was the...
That was the battle there.
Then why couldn't you go to it?
Nobody said this was a well-made game, Hanse. He's like, oh my god, Kib.
This aids the cause of war. Reforged for murder.
Reforged for Moida. Moida, Hanse. We're just gonna Moida a little bit. Wait, what? I thought you were finished leveling up. Valkyria the Bloody doesn't look like she was.
Abaddon says, I said that this partially because a
Gifts for
unit
the
in
champion.
Empire Earth used the bell
Mistress
thing,
of Skulls.
reminding me of that. A unit from Empire Earth used the bell thing. Now, I played Empire
Bringer
Earth,
of
and I'm actually
glory.
trying to remember what unit you're talking about. Kibs may not like Empire Earth, but I kind of like it.
I
There
never
will
said I
always be
didn't like
blood.
it.
He said it was trash and it should burn for all eternity.
He's like, I might be what we call being a bit of a... It's like, damn, right in the hands. That was how Hanse was bested in verbal battle. Alright, this map hurts my eyes to look at. Like, oh, I don't know if Chaos is the faction for me, honestly. Or maybe the use of the Vassal mechanic. Like, a part of me wishes I had extinguished these little runts.
This is the issue with any Total War game. You don't want vassals. Ever.
Problem is, game wanted me to play this way, and so I'm actually just gonna do it the way the game intended to be played, to see what the developers were going for, but it just feels so janky.
Oh, it's an sent you money.
Also, your generous $5 review say, Curiosity killed a cat. Satisfaction brought it back. God is in the details. Two other phrases that evolved. He's like, oh, he's just mad. Angry. He was like,
It is kind of funny how those phrases got twisted over time.
We
well, I had a
exult
bad
in
day.
this
I
strength.
gave blood to the blood god. Meanie, meanie, meanie.
To be fair, I would actually mostly chalk that up to people simplifying and misremembering quotes. Like, another famous one is, Luke, I am your father. That was actually not the line. If memory serves, he just said, I am your father. I'd have to look up the exact script to remember the precise words used.
See, no name orange juice. I need to beat this campaign so that I can actually safely fucking do what Kibbo's job is to do as a YouTube god. It's to be like, I can safely say that this game is potato. Even though I can do that now. But if I don't play it fully, then people are like, you didn't play the game. And it's like, oh my, oh, Jesus Christ, fine. I'll beat the whole thing. But like, the thing is, like, I already know. Oh, I don't feel like doing that. I'll be back for you, you stupid little girls. I only have a couple more streams of this, then we're going to do a Total War Warhammer proper multiplayer campaign. In fact, because Hanse is here, I'm actually thinking about switching. I just wanted to do one more thing. We'll switch to the co-op one that I'm doing with Hanse in the background. But basically, I'm going to wrap this one up at some point. Then we're going to do a big one with everybody to do the Molder Empires thing. I think with friends, this game can be actually kind of somewhat enjoyable. And there are some things that are nice about it, but the fact that every settlement looks the same, or there's like only a couple presets, like it really grinds my gears, is what it does. There's no uniqueness. I like some of the army roster for this faction. It's got some fun, cool looking toys, but like one of my problems is I'm not a big fan of how the demons work.
Chad is now saying the thing that Vader actually said, because it's been a bit since I've seen the movie.
Oh, no name brand orange. Tomorrow morning we have a fun game scheduled. Destroy All Humans 2. The remake launches tomorrow. And it's gonna have a full playable co-op campaign. Bubbles and I will be running through that. That'll be pretty fun, I hope. Why not just play
Yeah.
the Mountain Blade Warhammer mod instead? That is if that's still kicking around. I'm waiting for Bannerlord to get finished before I even bother modding it. One of the problems with modding Bannerlord, from what I watched some of my friends play it, is that the mods break because they update it not infrequently, but they make little updates all the time. And while
Its
that's good,
update
the little
schedule
updates
is so
break
frequent.
things.
Yeah, the updates are so frequent, it breaks everything. So there's no point modding it because the mod's just going to be broken in a short span of time anyway. Yeah, Artman says, "Nah, Luke, I'm your daddy."
When I'm bored.
Maybe a parody of Star Wars had that line.
Wait, how do I get rid of this fucking thing on my window? How do I get this thing? Go away. Okay, let's go. That was one of these tabs. Oh, that's why. I was like, I don't like that being there. It was making me mad. Right, so let's see.
Exalted Wolfglotr!
We need to attack the Dark Elves. We'll hit them in the back there, and then we've got an army going this way to hit them in the front here. Now, they do have a big, mighty stackaroo. Let's bolster our army with Mad Damon's.
Now is chaos.
Okay, it seems good enough. I like a woman quitting partway through because she wanted to go to play with a group of men. What? Group on men? What do you, what? Apparently somebody remembers wrongly. It is called a Mandela effect. Alternative worlds, says Fafnir Bane.
The Mandela... Yeah, that incident was definitely one of the more popular incidents of that.
Damn, it's hot in here. Oh, shit. I miss having AC. It never gets old. I feel like it affects my personality.
You keep saying you're gonna clean up your apartment so you can call maintenance to get your AC fixed.
Yeah, but I'm gonna feed it fixed, but I'm not gonna use it. Electrical bills are getting more expensive as time goes on. And we need that money for the game's development.
Lord of War! Exalted of Corn!
So we're gonna go down here and beat up this little city instead.
Chaos!
Oh, very funny. Arthme says,
like
Leia,
how-
I love you, Han. I know. See, the original thing with that is George Lucas wanted to say, I love you too, but that sounded really cringe, and Harrison Ford's
It
one who
was
pointed it
improv.
out. Harrison Ford's like, let me handle this, and it's like, I know. And it's a way better scene.
It sounds more in character because that's what Han would say based on his characterization up to that point.
Mm-hmm. Interwar on the ally side. Sure. It's just against filthy elves. Nobody likes elves, shit.
Well, it says, Kibs, you need to run AC every now and then to have it turn over or it can break from not using it.
Oh, don't worry. It broke from something else. From being used. It was always obnoxiously loud. And also spit out like filament all over my fucking desk. And I was like, this is probably in the air and I'm breathing this in. And I imagine that's not good for me.
Skulls for the Skull Crow! Burn it! Burn it all! Corn demands
You got a little wagon now. Isn't that pretty cute? Hearts of Iron. You playing Hearts of Iron? It's like, yeah, beast.
artifact of ruin.
Right, we raise that settlement because it devalues it to nothing, and it's funny because the dog goes, "Wee," and they reload.
God says hashtag knife ears best waifu. The thing is, there's multiple shades of knife ears. You got the emo goth knife ears, or you have the tree hugger knife ears. So, which one are you actually referring to for best waifu?
They will be dominated.
It's true. There we go, chat. Oh, that's right.
Spare none!
Occupy and
We are
vassalize.
bound in blood!
Yeah, look at that, chat. We're becoming powerful and stuff. I just can't wait for winter. Then it will finally be a nice temperature in this apartment. And no longer will I be sad and having to just sit here and frown. I even have a fan on, and it makes no difference. It just blows hot air at me.
Todd brings up a faction that I didn't mention because, fucking Wood Elves. He says, Wood Elf knife ears lol. He likes them all knotted and angled.
Wow,
I'll spill your blood.
Catwoman!
bit weird. Just a little bit, Hanse. Just a little bit. Little itty bitty bit.
Greater killing ability!
Alright. Alright. I'm Matthew McConaughey now, chap.
Sword Maiden of the
I randomly
Blood God.
transformed to Matthew McConaughey at will. That's retarded. I wish I couldn't do that. Fair enough, I wish I couldn't either, chat, but I'm just so skilled. Yeah, we gotta be able to ready to intercept him whichever direction he goes.
This world
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-bum, bum, bum, bum. Alright, so far we're not doing too shabby, chat. Like, because I'm playing with vassals, like, okay, technically I own... Here. I own all the blue stuff, basically, except for this guy. This guy's actually independent still, which is cringe and gay. But, basically all these blue dudes, like, this is all the territory I own. Because of the vassal stuff, and I own some, like, little bits. And, like, I've conquered a fairly large slew of the
they're
map.
trying to go for, because for the proper chaos factions, it's supposed to be more of a horde thing, whereas these are the Norskin tribes, so it's basically chaos coming down, conquering the tribes, and basically saying, you're working for us.
It does kind of feel like that. I'm just thinking. Because technically I've actually taken like, almost the entire north edge of the map, actually. Like, I've almost have all of it, even. Just this big fucking line. Oh, god damn it. I just need to backtrack and mop up.
reforged for murder.
And I'll finally be able to do that when I knock out the Warriors of Chaos faction, so to speak.
Will be dominated.
Oh, okay.
Do not displease me. Bring
Okay, that army's as beefy as she can get. Make it spiky. Oh, Jimmy says I'm home, Draconis. Welcome back. Just, I do like how Stiffy just gets told to go home all the time. Chat is bullying Stiffy. Stiffy, the age of Stiffy is over. He's now flaccid. He's like, what? That sounds gross.
It is.
The Dark Elves are being cringe. Okay. We've got Chaos Boys that are not getting in line, so they need to be cringe. And we're just gonna have to kill them. Like this Archaon, the ever douche. Like, I should fight it, maybe, just to wear him down. Because now might be a chance to wear him down. Go home, Kibby. I don't think that'll work. George's looks. Ugh, got him. I am home. It's not a city map. It's a street map with a wall. God damn. Like, Creative Assembly's like, oh, so make it a little deeper, and it's like, that helped a little itty small tiny bit. But the problem is it's still not a city, and the city's not interactable in any way. It's just a bunch of like the map shows it, like impassable terrain, which means nothing. And then oh god. Terrible, chat. It's just terrible. All right, so the enemy have what we call Sagan Towerins, chat. Yes, quite. And they're going to attack from 30 different spots, which is pretty cringe of them to be TBH, chat, TBH. Technically what we could do is send them out.
The Dark Gods command me. What?
I think fighting the walls might be the best option because of the towers.
If you can keep them outside, the towers can do work.
My gods call.
Honestly, the thing you could do is go out and try to destroy like the few towers in the smaller groups, and then basically swing those guys around.
Yeah.
The Holtznader has a question for you in the form of money.
Holtznader donation 5 does say, is holding the walls and still strong tactic in Total War 3? Not really. It's not nearly as strong as it used to be, because the problem is with the walls...
He said wrong, not strong.
Oh, wrong tactic. It's somewhat useful because the towers exist, but the issue with the walls is the fact that magic ladders exist. Anybody can get up the wall. And so the wall is less of an actual wall and more of like what we call a speed bump.
I think if they wanted to do that, it would be better if a general had to give a specific trait to get access to the quick ladders. Otherwise, you should have to build them. Like, you know how Vlad has a siege attacker? If you have something like that, then you can get those ladders, or at least a certain number of them for free.
Mm-hmm.
Exalted hero.
You also didn't place any of your towers before the battle started.
That looks very janky. It's a black box around his sprite. That's funny. I forgot to. That's true.
And because of the mod you have, you can't place them.
I don't care about that too much. I like how they can't actually intercept the towers, though. Or can they? Nope.
Kind of.
I think they technically bump into it, but they can't. They don't like get out.
My gods call.
So the tower just being pushed through magic means.
Mortal fool. Marauder horseman. Yes, Lord.
Oh yeah, no, like sallying out. Like sallying is actually a genuine strategy, and like in Warfare. In fact, a lot of defenders, selling was actually a huge deal. Selling here is not really worth it. Because they just glitch through it, sort of feels like. And it feels like they bug out.
Chaos Marauders!
Bit jank, not gonna lie.
Your will? Wreak carnage!
Well, at least we beat those guys up. You know? Silver lining and all that, so to speak.
Like, the lower trait tree gives you lightning strike, maybe the final pip could be ladders. Says real hold standard, yeah, something like that. Or kind of like Rome 2, where one of the army trees you can go down was one that gave you more siege points to build like siege engines and stuff like that.
Chaos Marauders!
Yeah, something like that.
Slay every mortal!
It's just, they should have done something more interesting with the siege system. Because sieges aren't sieges. It's like, there's no skirmishing either, because, like, skirmishing isn't really worthwhile in most cases. Especially in the PvE side. I can't comment on the multiplayer scene, because I stopped playing Total War multiplayer.
The issue is it turned into cancer. Because what people would do is, if they were being really sweaty, before they lost, they would disconnect their internet. Because if you DC'd, it didn't count as a loss. Which meant you got to keep your quote-unquote perfect record.
That's stupid, but my problem with the multiplayer was the DLC races just being broken. The thing is, I have all the races because I wanted to play them all, and I did. But here's the issue. Like, it wasn't fun to play them against my friends because, oh, I just sort of win. Like, that's not...
It's like in Warhammer 1.
Fun.
If you bought the Wood Elves, it's like, okay, you played the Wood Elves, good job, great strategy, you just win.
Yeah, it's just not interesting. It's not interesting to play against, and it's not interesting to play with. Because if it's like, oh, like the Beastman was the big one that broke me. I always talk about it, like the Beastigors or whatever, with like a health potion. Like, they were just so ridiculously overpowered. It's like, this isn't fun anymore. Like, this is just kind of disgusting. And what makes it even worse is the fact that the reason for it is like they're broken, and it's always the new race that's broken, because that way they're trying to incentivize you to buy it. And so it feels disingenuous, and I no longer want to play it in multiplayer because it just feels like if I don't play the DLC race, I'm not going to win. And the problem is everybody, if you play with randos, they're all going to play the DLC race too. Oh god, they will. Because it's what wins. I don't even fault the players for just wanting to win the game. It's just... It's on CA to actually balance the shit. But they're just like Games Workshop. Just as cancer. And they just don't care.
Eye opens. Eye of the gods. Deliver slaughter.
I wouldn't mind wiping some of their units.
That's usually my goal in situations like this. Focus like one or two of their high priority units.
See, that's broken. Well, that wasn't as broken. I killed more of my own dudes, but I killed... Actually, no, I killed more of them. That unit was basically wiped. But that wall thing, wall destruction spell, that's stupid. Like, even in fucking our terrestrial world, like, I didn't write anything like that, because that's ridiculous. It's just too powerful. There's such a thing as called scaling and balance. And when you have, like, casters that can just rip walls apart like that, then all of a sudden it's like the walls become less sensible. That and, you know, magic ladders make them less sensible, but, you know, details.
Exalted hero. Fight. Back.
Ragnar says, I still wish for a unit in Total War Warhammer that can lit those siege engines towers on fire, light on fire. I mean, hey, they have a wooden siege tower. How about some fire? You raise an excellent point, Ragnar, and that's true. The thing is, oh god, this makes me mad. But like when it comes to the other Total Wars, here, you know what? Let's look at a recent Total War. Three Kingdoms Total War, right? Came out not that long ago. Has fire mechanics. There's forest fires, which you can use forest fires to, you know, just cause a lot of damage to enemy troops as they're fighting in the forest. There is city fires, burning buildings in settlements, and the integrity of a settlement will actually determine the defenders' like morale as they watch their people, you know, die around them and the buildings burn. Their morale drops. I actually like that city siege mechanic because it adds a tacticality for making a city looking like a burnt husk like this. Now, this makes sense because they're corn and, you know, they don't really care about civilization and stuff like that. But for factions that are civilized, you know, they should have city siege mechanics. They should have settlements. There should be people living in these places, you know? Well, they broke through there.
That is true, Sudden Cringe. In Medieval 2, you could burn siege towers. They actually had two, for lack of a better word, health pools. You had the actual health of a siege engine, and then you had what percent it was on fire. Once it got to 100%, it would just start taking damage.
Yep,
It was
siege had
on
fire too. Siege equipment had fire. Fire affected infantry as well. Not just like it did a morale buff, a debuff, and it also had a fire effect. Infantry would actually burn as well. So you had like this cool like, effect.
Not just Medieval 2, but Rome 1 as well.
Yep, Rome 1. Rome 1 had the burning piggies. Oh, those were funny.
They weren't that good,
Hanse is like,
but they
alright,
were
kid,
fun.
they were a little bit retarded. It's like, listen, burning piggies were funny. We should do more
They
Rome Total War
weren't
remaster battles.
that
Those are fun.
good, but it's
They
still
weren't good,
amusing.
but they were funny.
I'm still amused that whoever I was fighting, I forget exactly who, it's like, I have Praetorians. I'll be able to eat through the Dacian infantry. And I'm just like,
Dacian infantry go
burr.
poke.
Dacian Falk swords go burr. And they're like, why is my heavy infantry dying? Because Dacians have AP value for their weapons.
Let's see.
Georgius Rex says, I remember in one of the Gotrek and Felix books mentioned that there were dwarven runes on a fortress wall, so enemy mages could not just blow them up.
Don't point out the lore things. I'm not a fan of the Warhammer Fantasy Magic system, mostly because it's too powerful, in my opinion. It would have... It's too powerful, and it's also kind of, unfortunately, too common. Not rare enough. Which, the thing is, when you have a high magic society, and there's lots of magic, it would actually affect technological progression a lot more.
From my understanding, the
he's still
thing
alive.
with the Warhammer Fantasy Magic is it's not very controllable. Like, only like the old races, like dwarves and elves, can use it relatively safely.
The wall didn't break. I think we've done as much damage as we can, Hanse.
Yeah, probably.
Kill them all!
You might as well throw that troll at them.
Which one?
One you just commanded run away.
Those are trolls? Oh, I thought those were horses. I wasn't fully looking at the screen. I was looking at Jet. And if you lost specific building, oh yeah, and city damage. What cool thing about Medieval 2 is the buildings had voxel damage, actually. I just wish we got a remaster of it so it ran in a different, like not a different engine, same engine. Basically the ability to do this with my camera, as well as some modern Total War controls, would really make it for Kibi. Would really make me happy. As they run away. I'm taking morale army loss penalty. No. Blip.
That's why I said you should have just thrown your trolls at them, because they were going to break anyway. Now you ate through a significant portion of their infantry.
That's true.
If you had another army to follow up and attack him with, you would actually crush him.
We put him in their place, so to speak, Hanse. Is that what you're saying? He's like, yeah. Teach them a valuable lesson in respect. I don't think we'll actually stream for this long today. I gotta make sure it fits me sleep schedule, because I only booked it a little bit yesterday. Because I had to help record the Game of Thrones thing. But we had to stay up till like fucking 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever. And God, Bard stayed up even later, because technically he's a Norwegian. But we got it done. Those midnight releases, I tell you, chat, quite cancer.
I was actually annoyed that the stream went on as long as it did. Not because of the stream, but because when you ended it, there was basically only 7 minutes left for my local gas station to stay open. So I had to go the next morning if I wanted to, or to get the thing I wanted. I thought it was open an hour later, otherwise I would have just left the stream near the end a little bit early to go grab the thing I needed.
It's almost made it, but didn't quite. He died. The Sword of King claimed whip. I like how that sound effect just repeats.
One of the most broken weapons in the game. Especially if you have a unit that has regeneration on it. I think Vlad is one of the funny ones to do it. I know Bubbles gave it to the mage chick for the Bretonnians once. And she was kind of broken with it.
It's kind of cool that they show you the paths of allied armies, though. Like, I do appreciate that. So there's like shared intelligence there. But either way, I think we're going to wrap up the stream a bit on the early side of things. Because I'm feeling a little bit beat from yesterday's thing. But we'll see you later, chat. And tomorrow's Destroy All Humans 2 stream. Thanks for all the supers and donos. I gotta also make sure that I get a lot of work done on our stuff that we're working on. So, either way, chat, take care and have a good night.
Night.